S192 bus being driven by Phil Foden going along those black flags. So it's like he's driving the bus on the road to Wembley. The final of the Champions League is at Wembley this season. That, I think, is the idea. Are we going with it? Does it work?
I really don't know. In all honesty, I'll have to.
It's a bit different, isn't it?
It's unusual.
It looks like a bus, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the black flags look like a road.
No.
But there's a little cityscape in the background, which sort of, I get it, I understand it. It's different.
It's certainly different.
It's
not seen
certainly
anything
different.
like it before, that is for sure.
Away to our left-hand side is a big depiction of the Etihad Stadium with Blue Moon and Love This City on that huge light blue banner away to our left-hand side. I think the bus thing looks good on TV. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's more than fair.
Yeah, I think on the TV that's going to look brilliant, but I'm not necessarily sure it works in the ground. But then again, maybe it's not for all of us, it's for those watching.
I think it's just hit a pothole, actually, Sam.
Well, not surprising, Manchester, mate. I've got to be honest with you. More craters in and around the streets of Manchester than there are on the moon. We had our road tarmacked a few months ago, and everybody thinks that they've won the lottery.
That's the council tax blow for this month.
I know, you should see the rise. Anyway, we're in Manchester. We're at the City of Manchester Stadium, the Etihad, for a huge encounter in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The two teams just congregating in the tunnel underneath us, and lots of people taking their seats here inside the stadium, getting ready for what is one of the biggest nights of the season so far for both Manchester City and for Real Madrid, who lead their league by 8 points. Real Madrid, they've got a Clasico at the weekend, but for them this is probably the bigger game, Stuart, on the basis that although they'll be happy with a reasonable season, having won the league in a season in which, let's be clear, Barcelona have been not at their best, they, I think, would love to have another run at the European Cup and try and hunt it down for a 15th time.
And Madrid is synonymous with the Champions League European Cup, so their whole history has been based around this competition, and that's why it's such a big tie tonight.
Yeah, only counts for them if they get to the final of this competition as a good season. The two sets of players steam out of the tunnel and onto the lush green playing surface at the Etihad Stadium. It has become a rivalry that has defined the European stage over the last half a decade. City fans have cherished memories of a crushing victory here a year ago. Madrid fans fondly remember the drama of 2022. Both are led by legendary managers, possess squads of unmatched talent and rising superstars. They lead their leagues, but only one can go forth in the greatest club competition in the world. It's Manchester City against Real Madrid for a place in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, and it's live on TalkSport. Manchester City make 3 changes from the side that drew 3-3 in the Bernabeu. Edison is the goalkeeper. Walker's back in at right back. Akanji, Diaz and Vardiol. They make up the back 4. Rodri and De Bruyne, the deepest line of the midfield players, with Foden in the 10, Silva right, Grealish left and Haaland through the centre. The bench: Stones, Ake, Kovacic, Doku, Alvarez, Sergio Gomez, Matthias Nunez, Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis. Real Madrid, who tonight will play in navy blue shirts with gold trim, start with Andre Lunin in goal, Carvajal at right back, Nacho, Rudiger, and Mendy as the back 4. Kroos holding in midfield, Valverde and Camavinga joining him. Rodrigo plays on the right-hand side of the attack. Vinicius Junior will peel out to the left and Bellingham through the middle. The bench looks pretty handy too. Apart from the goalkeepers, the outfield players are Eder Militao, Modric, Joselu, Lucas Vazquez, Ceballos, Fran Garcia the left back, Brahim Diaz and Arda Güler from Turkey. Our referee tonight is Daniele Ossato from Italy, the VAR Massimiliano Irati, and his assistant VAR Paolo Valeri. 2 very experienced officials taking charge of one of the biggest games on the European calendar. Kyle Walker and Nacho embrace on halfway, exchange pendants and then disappear to either side and into their respective huddles. And Manchester City, who have been turned round by Real Madrid in a first victory for Nacho. Will shoot from right to left in this first half, and then from left to right in the second. Light blue jerseys, white shorts and light blue socks. Well, Stuart Pearce, that's always something that captains like to do to the opponents, isn't it? Just to unsettle the opponents before kick-off.
Yeah, any advantage you look to gain, certainly. In my time as a captain, I would always attempt to do that if I won the toss. But just going back to the games last night, how that game turned in Barcelona on the sending off, and both teams would have watched that, I'm sure, and both teams will be mindful they need to start and finish this game with 11 on the pitch.
Absolutely. There's one or two that could end up missing the semi-final should they get booked tonight. That is for sure. Ruben Dias and Manuel Akanji amongst those for the home team. We're off and underway, live on TalkSport. For the crown, not quite. But whoever wins tonight will be favourites to grab the throne. And Stuart Pearce has managed Manchester City, has played in the Champions League. I just wonder whether or not we're going to be kept on the edge of our seat as we were last week in Spain. Long ball down the right-hand side by Ederson is aimed towards Erling Haaland, who's miscontrolled it, goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left. And Pep Guardiola, who looks like he's dressed for the delivery of a box of milk tray this evening, all in black with a big, thick roll neck, strides around inside his technical area. He looks like he means business, and I think his team will have to tonight.
Yeah, interesting the setup here from Madrid. Not sure who that was that popped back, and Valverde's ended up going back and taking the goal kick, actually, which is unusual. Just trying to stretch Manchester City, make them think about something.
Yeah, just pushing everybody as wide and as high as possible. It's pumped forward by Lunin over towards his near touchline, and then it's headed away on halfway, comes out towards the near side, and then Rudiger will see it back to his goalkeeper. Bit of pressure from Manchester City, and then the ball is cleared by Lunin. It's headed forward by Rudiger, back by Toni Kroos, all the way to the goalkeeper Lunin, who's under pressure from Grealish, and then he has to just chop back and clear away and get it out to the far side. Manchester City, I think, will be delighted to have the second leg here. It has been something that has favoured the winner in the last two meetings between these two. And they led before we'd even blinked last week in the Bernabeu, but were behind after 14 minutes. So who needs the thrill of a theme park ride when you've got the Champions League?
I think as well, you said before, Sam, we hope we'll have a good game. I think it's more of an outside shot having a poor game these days, you know, against teams of this magnitude, especially in the Champions League. Games seem to be so open these days.
Here is Guardiola away to our right-hand side, and on the City left, plays it to Diaz, and then into Akanji. Walker at right back today, long sleeve shirt on for him. It's a chilly night in Manchester. It's dry, and it's bright blue sky above our heads still, even as the sun begins to set here in the northwest, but it is incredibly chilly. They tell me it's going to get down to freezing tonight, which will be quite remarkable for April. Here is Akanji, back to the edge of the 18-yard box. Diaz pokes it forward into Akanji again, looks up, and then threads it out towards the near touchline. And tight to it is Jack Grealish in those orange boots. He cuts in, his socks only halfway up his lower leg, being kept down by his substantial calf muscles that are bulging out the top of those stockings. And it goes back into midfield, into Rodri. Rodri back to Diaz, who's under no desire to urgently rush up the pitch. He just tiptoes forward, and we thought that the rumour around the campfire anyway was that Madrid would press high tonight. When Ancelotti was asked about his game plan, he said, you know, I'm not going to use a low block or try the counter-attack. I want to just play the complete game.
I'm just looking at the setup at the moment. Vinicius Junior playing more of a central role, really, you know. Rodrigo playing outside. I don't know whether they looked at it and thought, you know what, Walker's got the match of Vinicius Junior.
Yeah. He's
arguably one of our best players. Let's move him away from Walker, or he can get somebody else in the back line.
It's a very fluid lineup as well, isn't it, for Real Madrid, because it looks as if, like, Toni Kroos has dropped back here. Carvajal's come into the sort of central midfield area. Valverde is tracking Bernardo Silva, and now Carvajal's switched to look after Gvardiol. It's almost as if they've been detailed to go man for man in a way, Real Madrid. Rodrigo's trying to win it high up from Kyle Walker over on the far side. The ball goes out of play and it's away for a throw-in. Pep Guardiola's trying to call a play from this near side. The referee is telling Kyle Walker to get on with it. It's been a much slower start to the game than it was in the Bernabeu. 4.5 minutes gone, City 0, Real Madrid 0 on TalkSport. And that little tactical tweak of Vinicius Junior playing as the point man might just unsettle Manchester City for a moment or two. They're pretty clever and intelligent enough to be able to deal with it. As Vinicius and Rodrigo double up on Walker, he has to push it out of play, and that is a little bit more like it with the high press, making sure that City can't get out over on the far side, as we expected Madrid to come here and do.
Well, I'm sure they've not come here a year ago, ended up getting battered, and then thought to themselves, if we come and do more of the same, we'll get a better result. He's certainly, Ancelotti, trying to unsettle City tactically in these early stages.
Grealish touches the touchline with his heels and then snaps down the left-hand side. It was missed by Gvardiol, and Rudiger gets it back to his goalkeeper. Clip forward towards Bellingham. It's going to beat him in the air, and it's controlled well by Ruben Diaz, who sends it back to his goalkeeper Ederson, who is immediately under pressure from his teammate at Brazil in Vinicius Junior, and then Gvardiol tries to roll a challenge from Valverde, who was a little bit eager, and that's going to be a free kick away to our right-hand side. We've played 6 minutes. You're listening to TalkSport 2. It's Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 0, and it's still goalless over on TalkSport between Bayern Munich and Arsenal.
You say these games, I enjoy them that much. They're so intriguing, the tactical matchup, especially in these early stages of the game. Both teams feeling each other out slightly. You almost see a reflection of what they've worked on during the week potentially as well.
It's almost like a 4-2-4 from Real Madrid, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a really defined 4-2-4 indeed.
With Rodrigo on the left, Valverde on the right, and Bellingham and Vinicius Junior in the centre. Here is Rodrigo skipping away from De Bruyne. He's got Valverde towards the right-hand side, and Ancelotti wanted him to play over the top for Valverde to run onto, but he went backwards rather than forwards, and Real Madrid just hold on to the ball inside their own half of the field. Rather unfussed, Lunin clips it out towards the near side. Carvajal turns under pressure from Grealish, gets it back to Rudiger. Rudiger across to Lunin once again, the Ukrainian, and then smashes the ball forward towards the left-hand side. Doesn't find a Real Madrid teammate. It goes through to Walker, and City have possession of it inside their own half. We played 7 minutes, TalkSport 2. Here's Rodri. They finally won a game without him at the weekend. That doesn't understate his value. Here's Grealish back into Rodri, who's trying to get beyond Toni Kroos. It goes back to Gvardiol, then on to Bernardo Silva, who smashes across against the chest of Carvajal into Rodri, who bursts down the left, being watched by Jude Bellingham. Across comes Dani Carvajal, and it's out of play on this near side and away for a City throw. They're on the attack again. Bernardo Silva back to Gvardiol, in towards the left edge of the penalty area. He scored 2 in 2, Gvardiol, after not scoring for City before last Tuesday night. Diaz to Walker, and then out towards the right once again. Infield it goes to Akanji, out wide to De Bruyne. Low cross through the 6-yard area, too close to the keeper, and dropping on the ball inside the 6-yard box ahead of everybody else was Andre Lunin, the Real Madrid goalkeeper.
Fantastic setup there. De Bruyne broke into the box on the right-hand side. For me, I think he should have took a touch and driven in and commit a defender.
Interestingly, picked up on the right side by Valverde, and he got his head up, and as he did, you could see Vinicius Junior threatening to run in behind the very high Manchester City line. Bellingham had made a decoy run before that, but Valverde didn't have the bravery just to quickly pass it through. I think if he had done, Vinicius Junior would have been in a foot race with Diaz, and it would have been fascinating to see who would have won that.
Yeah, as I say, we saw Newcastle at the weekend just turn the ball in behind, almost blind on occasion against a high back line of Tottenham. And that tactic might well pay dividends if City play that high line as well.
Camavinga slips it into midfield, finds Jude Bellingham wearing a long sleeve Real Madrid top tonight, and Watching as the ball goes towards the far side, and Ferland Mendy back infield to Kroos, back to Mendy again, and then all the way back to Lunin. And it's good football by Real Madrid, who are trying to take the sting out of the evening and the sting out of Manchester City. Carvajal finds Bellingham, good turn away from Rodri. He's got Vinicius Junior to his left and Valverde to his right. Slips it to Valverde, who goes back in field to Camavinga. Valverde's got it back again, charges up to halfway, looks up, plays it out wide to Carvajal. No rush from Real Madrid to get it forward. Rodrigo is over on the far side. Bellingham's got another touch. He plays it back to Toni Kroos. Kroos at the base of the midfield inside his own half. Goes to Rudiger and then Nacho, and then he charges upfield, plays it left, bit of space now for Rodrigo. He runs forward, just in from the touchline, gets it back from Mendy, then on to Vinicius Junior, who turns 10 yards outside the Manchester City box, plays it wide. Carvajal, he's got Valverde outside him. He takes it on now. Can he get a cross in? No, goes back to Carvajal instead. Now Camavinga, looking to shoot from distance, does that towards the far corner, and it's an easy save actually for Ederson, who drops to his right. And the first shot in anger tonight comes from Eduardo Camavinga.
Yeah, he didn't really get the power on it, but it just dropped in front of Ederson, and they can squirm underneath you, as I found out in the West Fulham and District League on many an occasion.
That when you were what were you playing for?
Dynamo Kingsbury Kiev.
Yes, Dynamo Kingsbury Kiev, yes.
Yeah, I've spilled a few of them into the net on occasions.
What was your pseudonym?
Jack Jensen I used to play as.
Jack Jensen, yeah.
Anyway, back to the Champions League.
It's almost as competitive from what I hear. Manchester City 3-3 with Real Madrid on aggregate, 0-0 on the night, and we played 11 minutes on TalkSport 2. And here is Akanji trying to burst away from Bellingham. Bellingham tries to get back at his former teammate at Borussia Dortmund. He doesn't quite get there. It's given away by Foden. And now Vinicius Junior is on the hunt at the other end, immediately surrounded by Walker and De Bruyne, and both of them put him under enough pressure to push the ball out of play over on the far side. We haven't seen much of Phil Foden in the early stages of this game, have we?
No, we haven't, because he's not playing. We felt as though he might play in a more central role this evening. He's playing on that right-hand side, and it's Silva who they've elected to play as a sort of number 10.
Yeah. Ball sent long by Carvajal up towards Bellingham. Good take out of the sky by the Englishman, who chops past Ruben Diaz, then sets it up for Valverde, who puts it in behind for Vinicius Junior, who's down the right side of the box. Low ball into Rodrigo. What a stunning save by Ederson, but he can't keep out the rebound. It's back to Rodrigo, who smashes it low and hard. And Real Madrid strike first in the quarter-final second leg. And it's Rodrigo with the goal. Right-footed, his first effort repelled by Ederson. He couldn't keep out his second. And it's 1-0 to Real Madrid. And it's 4-3 on aggregate.
Well, the ball was pushed forward in the air, and it was taken out of the sky by Bellingham fantastically well, I've got to say. Looking for offside, really high line, right on the halfway line. Bellingham broke the offside trap with a great run. And from that moment on, there was danger zones, and we're looking for the run. There was a couple, no, he's onside, definitely onside.
So both Bellingham and Vinicius Junior are onside. It's a setback for Manchester City early in the game. And Carl Walker, I'm not entirely sure what he was attempting to do there. Did he slip as that ball came across the face of goal? Because he didn't reach it, and it went straight through to Rodrigo. His first effort went straight to the goalkeeper, who made a good instinctive save, but the second one, well, he couldn't help but tuck that into the corner beyond Ederson, and it's 1-0 on the night to Real Madrid.
Yeah, and certainly, as we said before, momentum is no indicator on who might score. And City had probably the majority of possession, and one down.
Here at the other end is Jack Grealish trying to respond for Manchester City. Onto Silva, whose first time shot was repelled by Rudiger. It spirals over the top and goes out for a corner to Manchester City. City 0, Real Madrid 1, live on TalkSport 2 tonight. And the first blood to Carlo Ancelotti's team. But it was first blood in the Bernabeu a week ago to Manchester City, and very quickly the home team regathered their senses and took control of the game. Maybe City will do that here. Corner kick. And De Bruyne replacing the ball after the Referee decided it wasn't in the right spot. It's in towards that near post, flicked by Vardio into the air. It's going to go behind and away for a second successive corner as it came off a Real Madrid defender. 14 gone, City 0, Real Madrid 1. It's not the kind of start that Manchester City wanted, and it's yet another game where they've conceded a goal.
Yeah, that high line, literally almost in Madrid's half, and Bellingham broke it, and from that moment on, I wouldn't say the danger signs were there, but certainly they had chance to build the attack from that moment.
1-0 to Real Madrid. Here is De Bruyne, right-footed, deep towards the far post, and actually the goalkeeper had to tip that over the top because it was threatening to sneak under the crossbar.
Yeah, it certainly was. Whipped in right under the crossbar there. Goalkeeper, no challenge.
Comes in again from De Bruyne, back under the goalkeeper who punches it clear, only as far as silver edge of the D, responding to try and put the ball down the left-hand side. He finds Grealish, but he's nabbed and the ball is cleared, and it's picked up by Rodrigo, who bursts away down the right-hand side. Vardio trying to get back at him. He tips the ball out of play on this near side, and it goes out for a throw-in. It goes the way of Manchester City. And I must admit, you know, they run to the final last year, Stuart, and ultimately the completion of that treble was based on the solidity rather than the sparkle of the team. They only conceded 5 goals in their 13 games in the Champions League last season. This season there has been a strategy where they've had to overpower the opposition with their attack because their defence has sprung so many leaks.
Yeah, as I say, it was certainly the solid part of their team, and we looked at City last year and thought to ourselves, well, they've learnt the lessons from previous campaigns.
They've kept just 1 clean sheet in their 8 Champions League wins this season, and they haven't kept one tonight. Rodrigo, the goal scorer, tries to travel down the left. It hits Ruben Diaz, who turns it over despite accusations of handball just inside his own half. Right to the centre circle, Rodri pings it out towards the near side. Grealish scampering, gets to the byline, keeps it alive, sets it back for Bernardo Silva, who tees it up for Haaland over the top of the crossbar with a header. Only narrowly over the top, and he just maybe got underneath it. It was about 1.5 yards over the crossbar in the end, but it was good set-up play. A lovely swish from right to left from Rodri, out to Grealish, who scampered to keep it in, set up Bernardo Silva, whose first-time cross was close to being perfect, and Haaland, maybe just a little bit too eager to get onto it, was a little bit too far forward for it, and it went over the bar.
Well, that was a training ground exercise of a goal. Incredible effort. Sadly for Haaland, couldn't get above it.
1-0 to Real Madrid, the visitors tonight, the Etihad Stadium, on what you would deem a huge night. These Real Madrid players still feel the pain of last season's defeat here, and they talk about it. It hurts them. It was the high watermark of Pep Guardiola's tenure at Manchester City, a rare low for Ancelotti and for Real Madrid. And they want to make amends tonight. They've started in the right vein, but there's a hell of a long way to go in games between these two. Seesaw.
I'll tell you what, Sam, I'd like to see Foden come and play more central and put Silva out on that flank. I really would.
Yeah, he's got lost out there so far.
He has, and I think he's got his tail up at the moment, and you want to keep fueling that confidence that he's got.
Here's Rodri, just in front of the centre circle, works it to Akanji, back out to Kyle Walker. Walker looks up and then nudges it into the path of Kevin De Bruyne. He makes a couple of steps forwards before onto Haaland. Haaland can't hold on to it, it's cleared away. Camavinga tries to get it clear, but there's too much City pressure, and he'll come back again through Kyle Walker.
He's been a bit scruffy with his hold-up play in this game so far, Haaland. A couple of times now he's given the ball away or give defenders the opportunity to just get a little toe in the way there. He's got to clean that up if he can.
Here is Walker into Foden, far side the right, lovely ball infield towards Akanji, further on towards De Bruyne. Haaland's waiting in the centre, good save by Lunin, stops it from sneaking through the 6-yard box. It was well blocked, back in by Silva, towards Haaland, hits the crossbar, comes back out of Silva, and he goes just agonisingly wide from Bernardo Silva's knee. But there was sheer persistence involved there, and the Haaland header looped towards goal and agonisingly come off the top of the crossbar, and when it rebounded into the 6-yard area, it hit Bernardo Silva and bounced wide of the post.
I've got to say that's the second time they've bisected this Madrid backline with that ball for a run from De Bruyne. On that occasion he smashed it across the face of goal. Keeper done well, and a couple of ricochets, and all of a sudden they've managed to clear it behind.
19 gone, and it is Manchester City who trail, courtesy of Rodrigo's goal after 13 minutes at the Etihad Stadium. Here is Rodri, centre field, back to Walker, who's on the halfway line. He brings it forward, and it's sent to Gvardiol. Gvardiol back to Ruben Dias, and City looking to build once again. In the Scottish Premiership tonight, Dundee 0, Rangers 0. They've played just over 20 minutes of that game that has been postponed and restarted again. And it's 0-0 between Bayern Munich and Arsenal over on TalkSport. Nacho dispossesses Haaland, whose hold-up play comes into question once again. And it was not a great pass across the face of the midfield by Real Madrid, and it was well won by Toni Kroos. Bellingham's got it back, he's got three around him, but still pokes it through to Kroos. The referee was going to give a foul anyway, I think. Rodrigo out to Ferland Mendy, and then it's back with Kroos once more, and they've kept possession well here. The Spaniards, the 14-time European champions. Good elevation out towards the near side to find Carvajal. He runs into traffic in Akanji, but that's going to be back with Madrid very quickly.
Yeah, that hold-up play once again from Haaland coming into question, gets good first contact and just allows the defender just to get a toe in it. He's got to do much better than that to bring his team into play.
Bellingham holding on to the ball well and still managing to use it well, actually. He won the free kick, and Toni Kroos is complaining because he believes actually they could have played on there. That's the sort of hold-up play that Manchester City are trying to get out of Haaland.
It certainly is. As I say, Bellingham's been absolutely fantastic in his hold-up play so far, bringing his team into it on several occasions, namely the goal.
Vinicius Junior is sent down the left-hand side to scurry towards the ball, but Walker's going to get there first. Bellingham's pass didn't quite reach Vinicius Junior, and it's away by Walker. Exchanges passes with Ederson, and then the high press is on from Real Madrid once again. Bellingham over on the far side, Rodrigo, Vinicius, they're all there. It goes back out this other side towards Ederson, and then Ederson finds Gvardiol, and they look to build through the middle now, Manchester City. 21 gone, trailing by a goal to nil, 4-3 on aggregate to Real Madrid. Out on the far side, the ball is sent to Foden. Foden encouraged to run towards the edge of the box. He dips his shoulder and comes inside, then lifts it to Rodri, who in turn squirms the ball out towards the near touchline, and Grealish faces up Carvajal, gets it back into Gvardiol, and then it's out towards the near touchline, and Bernardo Silva once again. He across to Rodri, not a great pass, cut out by Vinicius Junior, and it's away by Valverde towards the halfway line. Camavinga holds on to it, and then there's a foul on him by Bernardo Silva. The score's Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1 in the Champions League. Live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com.
Yeah, you just get the impression around the ground at the moment. There's this little bit of frustration. If you think your work's done with a draw on the road in this competition against Madrid, well, certainly I know Pep wouldn't have counted his chickens, but certainly the fans might well have done.
Here is Bellingham over halfway, out to Valverde, into Camavinga. Understandably, I think the mood before kick-off tonight was buoyant. The weekend results went in Manchester City's favour. The City fans know how ruthless their side can be when you give them a sniff of glory. They anticipate now that they will go on and win the league. They've got an FA Cup semi-final against a team I think they expect to beat at the weekend. That might not be the case, but I think they believe that they can overcome Chelsea. Saturday evening live on TalkSport 5:15. And then, of course, there is the march towards glory in the Premier League. But they've got to get this job done too. I think they'll be disappointed, having scored 3 goals in the Bernabeu, if they don't get the job done tonight. But they've got a problem here because the ball's been sent over the top of Vinicius Junior, who's headed it ahead of Walker and tried to find Rodrigo, couldn't do so. For a moment it looked like he was going to escape him behind. He just didn't run for him, and it's cleared away. But that ball is on him behind the defence. Here is Akanji down the right side, moving up towards the edge of the area, dispossessed by a combination of Mendy and Nacho. And then Valverde tidies up, but was a scruffy attempt at bringing the ball out by Nacho. Foden intervened, and once again they've got it back again with Bellingham, far side. Whips over the top, Carvajal's running in behind now. Ederson's had to come out of his 18-yard box to come and clear. He does that, not the best of clearances, and Vinicius Junior has picked it up and he's turned and now he's running directly at the City defence. He's got three. He'll come back to Carvajal edge of the area. His right-footed shot is blocked, and then Valverde from 30 yards out tries what would have been a stunning volley, but he miscued it and it goes behind the way for a goal kick. But there's the threat.
Yeah, there certainly is the threat, and Valverde was fortunate that the Foden bus had left 20 minutes earlier, otherwise he'd have put one of the windows out in it. And once again, it's the ball over the top, isn't it, Sam, that's causing the odd problem. And the hold-up player, Bellingham's been brilliant. If you contrast that with Haaland, who's been a bit loose with his hold-up play, Bellingham has held absolutely everything and brought his teammates into play, and from that created the odd chance.
Well, they knew they couldn't come here and allow Manchester City to have 81% of the ball like they did at the Etihad last season. They know that they can't concede 13 shots in the first half. They know that they were suffocated and smothered in Manchester after competing in Madrid a year ago, and they are determined to put that right, and so far they have done that. They lead by a goal to nil here, Madrid, on TalkSport, on what could be a huge night in the Champions League, what will be a huge night in the Champions League, no matter what happens here this evening. But this tie still very much in the balance at this moment in time. Pep Guardiola and his City players come alive at this stage of the campaign. Here is Akanji, just in front of the centre circle. He's got Bellingham and Vinicius Junior in front of him. He sends it square. It's collected by Josko Gvardiol. Back it goes infield to Ruben Diaz, and then Gvardiol once again just nudges the ball back towards the centre circle. Again, the slender Pep Guardiola points to the other end of the pitch, urging his team to get the ball forward a little bit more directly. Silva takes over, moves up to the edge of the area. Grealish then down the left takes on Carvajal, sends across into the centre, took a deflection. De Bruyne trying to wrap his legs around Kroos to get the shot in, sends it just narrowly wide of the goal, which is saved anyway by Lunin, and it's back with Real Madrid again. What have Manchester City got to do to wrestle enough control in the game to get some more efforts at Lunin's goal, because he hasn't really been tested?
No, he hasn't. I'll tell you what, first thing I would do, bring Foden to the centre of the pitch and put Silva out wide to start with. I think they've got to continue. De Bruyne's been in, running off the back of Kroos on that inside right position. Try to keep manipulating that area if possible.
Here's De Bruyne, charging, shooting, and seeing his effort from the edge of the box pushed away by Lunin, who has been tested by Kevin De Bruyne. He went charging towards goal after he picked it up in the midfield area, right side of the box. He saw sight of goal and he went for it.
Well, as I just said with De Bruyne's got the ability to run off of Kroos, and when he does, he can open up that part of Madrid's back line.
Carvajal went down before that and they wanted the game stopped. And Daniele Osato is just coming over to have a word with Carlo Ancelotti, the two of them having quite a vibrant conversation. He's not happy about it, Ancelotti, and nor is Osato, actually. Carvajal is back on his feet, hobbling towards his own goal as City start to ramp up this set piece. Kevin De Bruyne, who's already tested Lunin, I suppose, from range, and will test him once again from this set piece, will send this corner kick in right under the crossbar. Rudiger takes charge with a good header away by Rodrigo. Goes down the left for Foden. Foden doesn't get the strength on the poke back to De Bruyne, but Rodri then sends across to the far post, headed down by Haaland, who heads it down at the goalkeeper, and that counts, I suppose, as a shot on goal from Erling Haaland.
Yeah, it was a towering header, I've got to say. He's got up probably about 8.5 foot there and just powered it down. What he needed to do was probably head it across the goal for a teammate.
Nearly 30 minutes played, 28 minutes played on TalkSport 2 tonight, and Manchester City are trailing by a Real Madrid goal to nil after 13 minutes, scored by Rodrigo. A slip by Kyle Walker in front of his goalkeeper as the ball was centred from the right-hand side, and that allowed Rodrigo to get the shot in. It was parried initially by Ederson and then back into the net by Rodrigo for 1-0 Real Madrid. Here is Ruben Diaz, back to Gvardiol.
Just looking at the Madrid defensive shape, they drop back to 30 yards from their goal and they just defend the width of the box, basically. There's no room at all to play through them. You've got to go on the outside of them, and then it's an interchange from there if possible.
They haven't really got the ball out wide to Foden enough, but when they have had joy, it's because De Bruyne's gone out there and taken on that role, and then maybe gone beyond Foden, which has allowed the space in behind Ferland Mendy. He's got a couple of crosses into the box from that wide right area, which has sort of opened it up for Manchester City. They've lost the ball on the edge of the box, and on the turnover, it's up to Vinicius Junior on halfway, and they've got numbers in the attack here, including Camavinga, who's steaming forward. On this near side, Valverde, who joins the attack and gets into the box. Bellingham arriving late in the area. It's teed up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was almost as if he was caught in two minds, and it was a poor delivery by Valverde, and it was cut out by Guardiola and cleared away by Manchester City, but their vulnerability exposed again, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it certainly is. As soon as that ball was turned over and they get a sniff, they might go in behind. There's players going quickly, and Camavinga just set sail like a 400-metre runner. If I was Valverde there bursting in the box, I'd have just give it everything I've got and try and get it on target. He decided to attempt to cross it, didn't pay off.
Didn't pay off at all, and it's still 1-0 to Real Madrid. Here's the goal scorer, Rodrigo, just left of the centre circle, trying to manoeuvre the ball forward to Bellingham. It's pushed out wide. On the left, it's collected by Mendy, and then back by Bellingham, infield via Mendy to Toni Kroos. Kroos forward to Camavinga. Camavinga back to Kroos once again, and then Kroos tries to find Carvajal, who's wandered into midfield. Rudiger back to his goalkeeper. Real Madrid that have been rebuilt over the course of a couple of seasons by Carlo Ancelotti and the recruitment team. They're in transition from Kroos, Modric and Benzema days into one of more youthful expression. Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo, Bellingham certainly a part of that, Tchouameni and Camavinga too. As Grealish comes forward down the left-hand side, tries to get to the edge of the box, takes on Carvajal, goes on the outside, then controls it, drags his studs over the ball before teeing it back up for Guardiola. Now Rodri clips the ball to the far side, header away by Ferland Mendy. It'll run loose and Akanji will get there ahead of Bellingham. And now Foden's got it right side. A couple of steps in from the right touchline towards the edge of the penalty area. Back to Akanji once again. Now it's with Rodri. Rodri just tiptoes forward, halts, plays it infield, collected by Grealish. Grealish runs up to the edge of the box, goes on the outside of Camavinga, then tries to tease the ball into the corner. It took a deflection, did it? He thinks it goes out for a corner, and Grealish is saying, hold on a second, I want a corner. The referee has now said, all right then, all right, I'll give you one.
Yeah, well, they turn around and say referees won't change their mind, so don't argue with them. I've just seen one that did.
And he was right to, by the way.
Yeah,
it was definitely exactly a corner. And the referee, after, I think, consultation with his assistant, has decided that Grealish was right and he has given the corner. 32 minutes gone. Here is a corner taken by De Bruyne. Over on the far touchline as we look at it, it'll be an outswinger this time. Grealish is lurking with intent on the edge of the penalty area. It won't reach him because, well, so Guardiola didn't quite get hold of it. But Vinicius Junior might be away here. Oh, he's taken the ball out and then he's swirled it back towards Bellingham. Bellingham, who's tried to control it, has done brilliantly to hold it up for a couple of seconds there before collapsing and then having it pinched by Grealish, who did well. Now Foden on the ball. A shot of electricity goes round the stadium as he picks it up and runs at the defence for the first time. Into Rodri. Rodri back out to Kevin De Bruyne. Back to Foden. Doesn't quite reach De Bruyne. Cleared away by Camavinga. And then it's back by Walker down the right side for Rodri to chase. He gets there by the corner flag. Tees up Foden. He then in turn gives it to De Bruyne, whose left-footed shot is over the top of the crossbar.
Decent play there. It's that little access you asked earlier, what can City do? It's that access in and around Toni Kroos in that area. He's not going with his runners on occasion, and if they can run off the back of him, they'll get opportunities. A lot of their opportunities have come from that area where De Bruyne is floating around.
Well, Ancelotti yesterday was asked if anything kept him up at night. Was it the sight of Erling Haaland bearing down on goal? Was it the sight of Kevin De Bruyne pulling the strings? He said, no, the only thing that keeps him up at night is if he's eaten too late and had too much pasta.
A bit too much cheese at night. He does look a very relaxed man, certainly. When I've been in his company on the odd occasion, he certainly has been that way.
Looks pretty relaxed on the touchline tonight. Here is De Bruyne into Rodri. Rodri down the right side, back into De Bruyne. It cut out by Toni Kroos and then cleared away by Ferland Mendy over on the far side. It is 1-0 to Real Madrid, scored by Rodrigo in the first half here at the Etihad Stadium in the east of Manchester on a chilly night. Absolutely packed inside the stadium as Valverde puts it out. The pressure is on here from Manchester City, and it goes for another corner. There's a gentleman who's in a tracksuit array to our right-hand side who is celebrating the fact that they've got another corner, and it's going to be a Manchester City corner over on the far side to be taken by Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne right on the quadrant will take this corner kick. He's got a little bit of help inside the area to aim at. Haaland and Rodri and Josko Vardiel. Right on the edge of the box is Jack Grealish. It'll be an outswinger once again from De Bruyne. We play 35 minutes. Low ball into towards the near post. It pops up and Haaland's going to challenge for it. Bellingham's up there as well. It's hacked clear by Tony Kroos and cleared away to the halfway line. And Kyle Walker is there. It is 1-0 to Real Madrid, live on TalkSport tonight at the Etihad Stadium. On TalkSport itself this evening, it's still Bayern Munich 0, Arsenal 0, Dundee 0, Rangers 0 in the Scottish Premiership. You're up to date on a big night of football on TalkSport 2. Akanji out to the right. De Bruyne trying to get into the area again. Pushes Kroos over, gives away a free kick.
I'll tell you what, Sam, that is the hot area for Manchester City to create from. It's probably, you know, anywhere between sort of 10 yards outside the box, just to the right-hand side, central, and they're getting in there, getting into the box, little interchanges, little third-man runs, and that's what they've got to keep barking away at. And De Bruyne is in that area, Foden's in that area, and they need to keep doing that to unlock this Madrid defence.
10 minutes to go before half-time, and I think the City crowd are getting a little frustrated about the amount of time that Daniel Osati is allowing Madrid to have to take these set pieces. Ball cleared upfield, and it's out towards the Real Madrid left. It doesn't reach its intended target, and when it bounces in midfield, it's the City shirt that gets hold of it. Now Haaland doing well this time to poke the ball through to Grealish inside the area, left side, left-footed strike, takes a deflection. And did it take a deflection? The referee again has pointed for a corner and then changed his mind again. Yeah. And it goes out on this near side for a quick corner, which is rapidly taken by Bernardo Silva. Into De Bruyne, back into Rodri. Rodri back to De Bruyne, swirls the ball into the box, and it's caught by the goalkeeper, and it will be cleared away. Let me ask you about that, because I wasn't going mad. I thought immediately I saw it, that's going to be a corner. He pointed straight for a goal kick, and then about half a second, 2 seconds maybe, between that and changing his mind again and saying, no, it is going to be a corner. Why?
No, you're absolutely spot on. He must be getting guidance in his ear, but he's got two decisions there wrong, fortunately for him, and I don't mind that. If they change their mind and eventually get the right decision, all well and good.
Here is Rodri, just in front of the centre circle. He's running with the ball at his feet, carrying it up the field. He gets dispossessed by Rodrigo, and then Bellingham quickly out to Rodrigo. It's bent round the back of the defence, and Akanji speeds up and gets in front of Vinicius Junior. I'll tell you what, he's going to get through a lot of work tonight, Vinicius Junior, but that ball's going to keep on coming, and once, maybe twice, he's going to get in.
You're absolutely spot on. As I say, he loves to operate in there, just inside, sort of between centre-half and right back.
Here's Grealish at the other end, dragged to the floor by Dani Carvajal, and Carvajal's going to get a yellow card here. And he's going to miss the first leg of the semi-final as a result of that. It's a yellow card.
Well, there's certainly an opportunity now for Grealish. Every time he receives the ball, go and put him under pressure, go and take him on. Like to see that. That's the only thing that keeps me up at night, let alone the cheese that keeps Carlo up. Wingers running at you.
Yes, I can imagine. You used to prevent yourself being given too many nightmares by snapping most of them in half.
Yeah, and eating a lot of cheese on the back of it.
Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1, 3-4 on aggregate. That's the scoreline in Madrid's favour. De Bruyne just standing over this free kick. Haaland waiting in the centre. It is 1-0. And City desperate to get back in the game before half-time. There's 7 minutes to go. Free kick in towards the far post, headed up into the air by Vardiol. Loose inside the box, hits the back of a Manchester City jersey, and then I think there was a push on Mendy, which is going to result in a free kick inside the box here. And the momentum of the attack just dissipates, and they haven't really been able to get a sort of consistent level of pressure. Every time they've had, 2 or 3 minutes where they look like they're going to upset the apple cart, Manchester City, all of a sudden Real Madrid have had a skirmish, they've got forward and they've caused problems at the other end, which has just tapered off the offensive pressure that Manchester City have been applying.
Yeah, it certainly has. And what they've got to do, I think they've had reasonable amount.
Well, the referee says play on here, and even though the crowd are saying they want a free kick, they're not going to get one. Vinicius Junior slips as he made a challenge. He's headed down by Foden far side, away by Nacho, and cleared up over the halfway line. City had the ball, they stopped, and everyone wanted a yellow card.
Yeah, as I say, we've got a situation where City are pushing on, but what they've got to make sure is they don't concede a second goal on a counter.
Yeah, that's the key thing at this moment in time, isn't it? As Haaland puts the pressure on the goalkeeper and shuts him down, it goes out for a throw-in in the left full-back position. Well, Daniel Eliasati is just explaining to Bernardo, so just chill your beans, he's saying, because Bernardo Silva is desperate for Vinicius Junior to go into the referee's notebook here.
The referee was quite adamant there was no touch at all.
He was trying to manage the situation, and if he didn't, there's probably someone who's here to tell him about it.
Indeed.
Poor clearance by Kroos sends the ball out for a throw-in inside the Real Madrid half, and it's with Kyle Walker of Manchester City who trail here tonight. And at the moment, if it stays like this, we'll be going out of the Champions League at the quarter-final stage. That doesn't happen very often. They've been regular semi-finalists up until this point, but defeat tonight, and their double treble comes to an end, and their hopes of retaining the Champions League comes to an end. And they need a couple of goals here to change the mood inside the stadium. Vardiol just tiptoes forward, releases Rodri. They've got a lot of the ball now, Manchester City, but haven't tested Lunin enough. Just the one big save he's had to make from De Bruyne from distance, but it was a regulation one. Back to the left it goes, into Grealish, now down the left once more. Camavinga trying to get it away. He does that. Into Rodrigo. Does really well to hold on to it initially. De Bruyne doubles up. Tries to win it back. Does double up. Does win it back. Rodrigo goes down. Foden continues. Akanji edge of the area. Loses out to Camavinga. And then Nacho takes no prisoners and scoops the ball forward out towards the far side. The referee's going to stop the game again just to check that Rodrigo is okay. Manchester City supporters, some of them a little bit vociferous with their protests about the delay to the game. Is there much in that? He just got a bit of a bump on his thigh, didn't he? A bit of a dead leg.
Yeah, it was almost a body check, you know. No intent there at all.
We've seen a replay of the Vinicius Junior challenge on Jack Grealish, which actually resulted in 0 touch, and Vinicius Junior very quickly got up and did the swan dive sign to Jack Grealish to indicate that he believed that the left winger had dived.
Yes, I've got to agree with him slightly there.
Well, Carlo Ancelotti, who has presided over a very solid season for Real Madrid. They have only lost once all season, Stuart, and that was to Atletico back in the autumn, and I did that game, and that was a smash, and I mean, I couldn't see it coming, and all of a sudden they'd scored 3 goals, Atletico, and they were more potent on the night than Real Madrid were, but they've recovered from that brilliantly, and they haven't lost since.
Yeah, they certainly look, well, their front three is so effective, there's no doubt about that. Bellingham's been brilliant at his hold-up play, and bringing players into the game. Without that hold-up play, the goal doesn't come, and certainly some of the attacks that they've had don't get built up, and then he's got 2 speed merchants in front of him, in Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior.
I'd just like to clarify that the man wearing the number 5 shirt for Real Madrid is English. He is only 20, but he is bossing it. He is telling his teammates exactly what he wants them to do. He's just given Vinicius Junior a lecture on body shape and position and where he wants him to be, and he's done the same to Fede Valverde. Here is Rodri, back to Walker, out towards the far side. What an asset he's going to be for England in the summer. Fingers crossed he's fit and raring to go for that. I know he was checked by an ankle injury earlier in the campaign, Jude Bellingham, but he is a supreme athlete, and he has had a fantastic first season at the Bernabeu. Here is Bernardo Silva. He's also wise and mature beyond his years, I think. Walker into Rodri, back to Akanji, and then to halfway, popped off by Ruben Diaz, out towards the left. 1-0 to Real Madrid on the night. Akanji in a pocket of space behind the Madrid backline, finds Grealish down by the byline. Can he get the cross in? The answer to that is no initially. Has to stop it, wait, and then look for help. Vardio is that help. He tees up Walker. Walker sends it wide. Patient build-up from Manchester City, but good defending by Real Madrid to keep them at arm's length. Foden with a lovely ball towards the far post. Carvajal had to react, he did, because Bernardo Silva was running off the back of him and was sneaking into the far post, and Carvajal flicked it behind to ensure he didn't reach it.
Well, you summed that up brilliantly. Absolutely top quality defending by Carvajal there. Tracked his runner, and they're not easy. He just got to flick it on its way, keep the momentum of the ball going out of play.
Here is the corner, away to our left-hand side. De Bruyne is going to take it. Right hand in the air. He flicks it in towards the far post, and it's flicked again away by the goalkeeper Lunin, because he almost got caught out for the second time by a direct corner.
Yeah, he did. That one was a little bit deeper, would have probably just nicked inside the far post. Certainly had some whip on it. Superb ball in.
Here's Foden with the corner on the far side. Madrid lead by 1-0 in the last few seconds of the first half. It's not a great corner, that, by Foden. It's smuggled away towards the far side, and the ball is picked up just short of the centre circle. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. I was expecting more than that. Here's Grealish down the left, moves up to the edge of the area, tries to take on Bellingham, stops the ball, goes towards the left again, then tees it up for Bernardo Silva. Poor delivery. Foden will pick up the pieces and shoot from distance, and it goes well over the top of the crossbar from Phil Foden.
Yeah, as I say, Madrid got their nose in front at this moment in time, but it's even Stevens. You couldn't call which way the next goal's coming, if there's going to be one.
Well, we'll soon find out. We've got 45 intoxicating minutes to come straight after the end of this passage of play, and we will be here to a conclusion tonight. If that means we're here right the way through extra time and penalties, then so be it. What a night it could be. I'm sure there's a lot more drama to come. We certainly have only had the first slice of it in that first 45 minutes. A minute of added time still to play, and Madrid lead by 1-0. And Vinicius Junior has won a free kick over on the far side from Kyle Walker, who has looked a little rusty since coming back from injury. Messed up for the goal, and just a little bit too eager, I think, to get in front of Vinicius Junior there.
I half disagree there. I'm not sure I see a great deal wrong with that. His foot was raised, but he hooked round the ball, secured the ball, and then free kick given.
Walker wasn't happy about it, nor was Guardiola, who looks a bit pensive, I think. And the Madristas behind the goal away to our right are waving their flags. Tony Kroos, tattooed all up his forearms, just drives the ball straight at De Bruyne, and what a wasted opportunity that was. He's given it away, and now Foden can escape over the halfway line. Camavinga tries to get back at him. Lovely little roundhouse from Foden to keep hold of the ball and protect it. Back in by De Bruyne, but there's no one there, and Bellingham will hook it clear, and that is the last action of what was a first 45 minutes, in which I'm not sure that too many inside this stadium would have enjoyed, apart from that slither of white away to our right-hand side, because Real Madrid are 45 minutes away from harpooning the City hopes of a double treble, thanks to a goal from Rodrigo after 13 minutes. 13 minutes in which they didn't really show too much attacking intent, but like we said beforehand, you could never quite tell when the pendulum is going to swing in one direction or the other, and at this moment in time it is Manchester City who have got to come from behind to try and overturn the deficit at the break. It's Real Madrid who lead by 1-0 on the night. Manchester City 3, Real Madrid 4 on aggregate. Stuart, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, there's not much in it between the sides. Madrid certainly took their goal very clinically, look a threat with any balls over the top in any way, shape or form. If City are out of balance, City's point of view, the inside right position is bearing fruit for them. They've got to keep going at that. And also, I'd still like to see Foden come to play inside, and Silva can't play on the outside on the right-hand side.
What's your analysis of the goal that was scored by Real Madrid?
Brilliant hold-up play to start with from Bellingham, and he's done that continually in this first half, and he showed a level of play and maturity you picked out in your commentary about how he cajoles his teammates around him at the age of 20 is quite incredible. He's a real leader on that football pitch, and he's held the ball up brilliantly, brought his team into it, and done a fantastic role for his team defensively as well.
Conversely, you've complained about the hold-up play from Erling Haaland.
Yes.
How do you tidy that up in such a short space of time? What do you say to him at half-time?
Well, you've got to put the onus on him a little bit and say, listen, for us to sustain attacks, you've got to hold the ball up and bring your teammates into play. If it breaks down on you, we're out of tilt, and we not only can't build an attack, we're loose in regard to being counter-attacked. And it's the basics of centre-forward play in many ways.
Well, it's a fascinating first 45 minutes, 45 minutes in which they took the lead, Real Madrid, after 13. Kevin De Bruyne's had a couple of sighters, not only from the edge of the area, but also a couple of free kicks and corners which have unsettled Andre Lunin. A couple of his corners have gone right under the crossbar. Do you think that's a tactic from Kevin De Bruyne? Has he seen a weakness there?
Yeah, I believe he has. I mean, they've been brilliantly whipped corners. One was a basic tip over. The second one, though, he's whipped it to the far post. It was just dipping inside the far post, I believe, and under the crossbar. Goalkeeper's made a very good save.
Half-time in the Etihad Stadium, and it is 1-0 to Real Madrid, and there's work to do for Pep Guardiola at the break. We'll analyse what he does in just a few moments, and we'll have a look ahead to some of the big football that's coming up on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 over the next 24 hours in just a few moments.
Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, Village Hotels have everything under one roof for a great breakaway.
Where would we be without curiosity? It's the drive that takes us to new places.
It even got us to the moon.
So satisfy your curiosity about electric cars with the Hyundai Explore Electric event, which is on until the 30th of June, where you'll find our award-winning range of electric cars, including the Ioniq 5. Explore more at hyundai.co.uk. It's the dawn of a new Hyundai.
Diving into starting a business and taking it to the next level is exciting. And having the right support is everything. That's why NatWest's dedicated team are with you all the way. Get 2 years free banking on everyday transactions when you open a startup account or switch to NatWest Business Banking, backed by the current account switch guarantee. So join the hundreds of thousands of businesses across the UK who are already pushing ahead. Tomorrow begins today with NatWest, proud partner of Team GB. Search NatWest Business. Turnover under 1 million for startup, under 2 million for switch. Standard tariff thereafter. Switchers must use the current account switch service. Can't transfer another NatWest Group business account. Other fees and criteria may apply.
Not everything in golf makes sense, but buying pre-owned clubs does. We're GolfBidder, an official partner of the PGA that helped millions of golfers over the last 25 years find quality and affordable clubs to improve their game. So while you may not always trust your swing, you can trust our clubs. Golf is difficult. Buying great value pre-owned clubs isn't. Browse thousands of premium clubs and use code TalkSport5 for 5% off at golfbidder.co.uk.
Juicy ripe Rosedene Farm strawberries. Price matched at only £1.69 for 227 grams at Tesco. Perfect for making a refreshing Eton mess and being deliciously devoured by messy eaters of all ages. That's true value. Tesco. Every little helps. Serving suggestions, price match, second and fourth pro rata versus GBLD. Check twice weekly, excludes promos. Selected stores excludes Express of Northern Ireland. Details tesco.com/Aldi price match.
Kick off your Sunday morning with a weekend sports breakfast on TalkSport with goals. The free football pull-out with the Sun.
Scores!
Lace up your boots with the nation's brightest sports breakfast, featuring insider news, big match previews, and expert analysis from Tony Cascarino and Natalie Sawyer.
Oh, It's absolutely magnificent.
Get fully loaded for football with the Weekend Sports Breakfast, Sunday morning from 6 on TalkSport with Goals. The essential free football pull-out with the Sun every Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
Thursday night.
Have we got something special for you?
Europa League live on TalkSport.
Oh, it's got in.
Atalanta versus Liverpool. Support Act starts at 7. Main event from 8 p.m.
Oh, it's in.
Continental Night Kicks. Thursday night.
Goals, goals, goals on the radio.
TalkSport.
TalkSport Podcast League. Outspoken with White and Jordan.
Listen to the latest show whenever and wherever you want with Outspoken, the podcast from TalkSport.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be asked.
All killer, no filler conversation.
Did you say that he should be investigated by trading standards?
That doesn't pull any punches.
Yeah, because he was rubbish.
Outspoken with Jim Mighty White and Lord Simon Jordan.
That's a bit over the top.
Well, there we are.
Out now.
Listen or download for free from your favourite podcast portal.
The playlist on TalkSport 2. Top flight football conversation for the sporting nation.
He's going to be half fit at best.
Yeah, at best.
At best, half fit.
All the big name views, news, and opinions that matter.
This bloke's too good at football for me.
Pull up your socks, lace up your boots, and get stuck in.
They did win, and they won quite comfortably.
Get all the big fever pitch build-up, all in one mammoth sporting session.
Just give me the points. I want to be in front of them.
The playlist, Friday afternoon from 5 on TalkSport 2. The passion, the pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
Overhead kick. Brilliant goal.
The Champions League live on TalkSport 2.
It's Manchester City against Real Madrid for a place in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. Back in by Silva towards Haaland, hits the crossbar, comes back out of Silva, and he goes just agonisingly wide from Bernardo Silva's knee.
Bellingham has held absolutely everything and brought his teammates into play.
Low ball into Rodrigo. What a stunning save by Ederson, but he can't keep out the rebound. It's back to Rodrigo, who smashes it low and hard. And Real Madrid strike first. Here's De Bruyne, charging, shooting, and seeing his effort from the edge of the box pushed away. Good evening, this is TalkSport 2. Sam Matterface, Stuart Pearce. We're live at the Etihad Stadium, and Manchester City trail by a goal to nil at the break. Big second half incoming, and it's only here on TalkSport 2. The live European football keeps on coming throughout the course of the week on the TalkSport network. We've got Liverpool and West Ham both in Europa League action, and both have big deficits to overturn if they're to progress to the semi-final stage. It could be an impossible mission. And then it runs through to Ederson, who's inside the box. This to finish it. Comes back to Pasalic. It's in. It's 3-0. And Liverpool are in massive trouble in the Europa League.
We just lost the plot a little bit, like we were everywhere and nowhere. I didn't recognize it. That was really strange.
In comes the corner, swung in deep. Oh, Boniface. It's 2. It will be the comeback of them all if they can see off Bayer Leverkusen next Thursday in East London. Salah's presence allows Darwin Núñez to win it back from Andrade. Salah will take it on and slip it through the legs of the goalkeeper for 3.
Yes, we have to show reaction, definitely, 100%. That's clear.
Goodness, goes for 5 and gets it.
It'll be a difficult game, but something which we've got belief that we can find a way to try and make it.
It's a massive night tomorrow night on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. And we'll be live here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow evening. Double header of European action for you. Aston Villa look to book their place in the Europa Conference League semi-finals. They face Lille, and then straight after it's Europa League action. West Ham United have a 2-0 deficit to overcome if they're to progress against the Bundesliga champions Bayer Leverkusen. Ahead of the game, we've been speaking to West Ham boss David Moyes, and he feels that his team need to remain level-headed if they're to have any chance of going through.
I said to somebody earlier that, you have to say we went to Leverkusen and it got to 83rd minute before they scored the first goal. It might take us that long before we can do it, but we have to have that patience and that level of trying to find a way of winning the game, or certainly get ourselves back a couple of goals in front before the end of 90 minutes. So we'll try and do it. We'll do everything we can to do it, but also we'll need to be careful, mindful how we do it. not overexpose, but do a good job. We've done a good job at Leverkusen for long periods, but obviously we couldn't quite see it through. I still believe that you're playing against one of the best teams in Europe at this moment in time. If you know, certainly a team which are going to be in the Champions League next year look as if they would be quite comfortable in that company. When you look at the way Dortmund have performed last night and Bayern Munich are performing at the moment, and this team are above them in the league. So I think we should give them respect, and we'll try and do our best tomorrow night to not to give them too much. But ultimately, I think they deserve the respect because of the results.
Well, if they are to have any chance of heading through tomorrow, they'll probably need the help of their goalkeeper, Lukasz Fabianski, and he's hoping the team draw on their European success from last season as they look to turn it around at the London Stadium.
I would say it's a nice challenge to have. Obviously, it's very, very demanding challenge, but we have to believe. I think there's no other way to look at the situation. Obviously, they're in a very strong positions when it comes to, I think, their confidence as a team, being unbeaten in the league, already crowned German champion. They, I think, as well in the German Cup progressed really well. So yeah, they're a very good side. They proved it in the recent games, the whole season. But I would say we have to believe, and at the same time, really nice challenge to have. We experienced already some games under pressure when it comes to European competitions in the previous round and in the previous years. So you know, sometimes we manage actually to create special magical evenings. So hopefully tomorrow will be a similar situation.
Got no chance, have they?
I wouldn't say that, honestly, because I've been connected with West Ham over the last few years or so, as you well know, and I've got close ties there. I spoke to David a couple of hours ago, wished him all the best for the game tomorrow. And you look at I think we went away to Lyon and won a game. We were second favourites too, and there's been certain games where they pulled results out, and make no mistake, he would set the team up to give them a chance. The first goal's going to be vital, Sam. There's no doubt about that. If West Ham can get the first goal in the game, whatever time that is, and they're going to have to be patient within the game, this is an outstanding Leverkusen side, there's no doubt.
That was my point, really.
Give them a chance.
They are Bundesliga champions. They haven't lost in a whole calendar year.
Yep.
They're hardly expected to be troubled by a West Ham side that had one shot last week to their 33. But I suppose if you're looking for sort of positives and chinks in the armour, the fact that they won the Bundesliga on Sunday and partied like it was 1999 may well just have led to them taking their eye off the ball, and you can hope that might be the case.
Yeah, potential. That's the hope anyway. Listen, when the draw was made, I think everyone connected with West Ham knew that you're probably taking the form side in Europe on in many ways, certainly in that competition. And it won't be an easy ask for them, but I tell you what, if they can turn this round, it'll be some night at the Olympic Stadium tomorrow.
And certainly it will be some night at Lille's Stadium if Aston Villa can get the job done on TalkSport 2 in the Europa Conference League quarter-final second leg. Alex Crook and Scott Minto, the FA Cup winner from 1997, keeping an eye on that for you tomorrow on TalkSport 2, full commentary there. And Atalanta against Liverpool is live on TalkSport with Joe Shannon and Dean Ashton, and West Ham against Bayer Leverkusen with Adam Bridge. And former West Ham manager Alan Pardew is on TalkSport 2 from 8 o'clock. We're concentrating on the second half of the second leg of the quarterfinals of the Champions League. It's Manchester City 3, Real Madrid 4 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night to Real Madrid. We're just about to get underway at the start of the second half. Daniele Orsato has blown his whistle, and Madrid get us started in those navy shirts with gold trim, attacking the goal away to our left, and Manchester City in those light blue jerseys, white shorts, attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. And one Manchester City official said to me at half-time, it's a good job we're attacking that end in the second half. They all stand up, the atmosphere just a little bit better at that end of the ground, and I think that'll help the team surge forward in the latter stages of the match. No changes at half-time for either of these two. Ederson is the City goalkeeper, Walker Akanji, Diaz and Gvardiol. Then it's Rodri, De Bruyne and Foden in midfield with, Rodri and De Bruyne in midfield with Foden on the right, Silva on the left, Silva in the 10, Grealish on the left and Haaland through the centre. Madrid have got Lunin in goal, Carvajal's been booked at right back, Nacho, Rodrigo and Mendy, Kroos, Valverde, Camavinga in midfield with Bellingham in there as well. Valverde tucking over towards the right-hand side and Rodrigo to the left and Vinicius running through the centre. Here come Manchester City down the left-hand side with Jack Grealish trying to get to the edge of the box. He pumps it against Carvajal, gets the return from Rodri. Inside the area surrounded by 3 dark jerseys. The cross from Bernardo Silva in towards Erling Haaland. Runs loose inside the box, is protected well by De Bruyne and then just wrapping his foot around De Bruyne's body was Ferland Mendy and it goes out for a corner away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, decent setup there. Once the ball come in, you're expecting a towering header from Haaland over the back of the back line, but good defending by Madrid.
90 seconds played of the second half, and it's going to be Foden to take the corner kick, left-footed, in towards the middle of the goal, punched away by Lunin, comes back out to Grealish, parried away by Lunin, down towards his right. Grealish's effort from the edge of the 18-yard box, and it was well saved by the Ukrainian goalkeeper. Back they come again, City. From the left, it's De Bruyne who has it. Moves up towards the edge of the area, leaves it for Grealish, given back to Bernardo Silva, and then it's on to Rodri. Rodri across to the edge of the centre circle, and City looking to build from the base with Walker. It's a short ball, cut out by Carvajal, who sends it down the left, and now Vinicius Junior looks to escape. He's being tracked by Walker. He turns infield, plays it back to Toni Kroos, and now they play forward up to Carvajal and keep the ball away, mainly at arm's distance from their goal, which is their main priority now. Real Madrid to keep Manchester City at arm's length.
Well, that counter-attack, they've done well to quell that. Vinicius Junior in this left-hand side, Walker got back and stopped the attack, which we know full well. Certainly closer to the 90-minute mark we get, if the score stays the same. If Madrid get a second, it's curtains.
Well, Manchester City get a throw-in on this near side after a sloppy bit of play from Madrid, and they quickly get things started down the right, looking for Haaland. Haaland getting towards the edge of the penalty area right side, back to Foden, who's just in from the touchline. It's collected by Rodri now, who slips it square. It's back to Gvardiol. Gvardiol touches it forward. De Bruyne then works it wide. Grealish now skating into the box down the outside. Is Bernardo Silva. His cross is too deep, and it's over the top of everybody rushing towards the 6-yard box and goes out on this near side, and it's tidied up by Real Madrid, who lead by a goal to nil at the start of the second half on TalkSport. Ball out of play, City have it. Haaland in the area, tries to get it under control, can't quite do so, and it's behind and away for a goal kick.
Yeah, a little bit scruffy there in the setup, good opportunity, but City have got to keep adding to the revs, fueling the fire, getting the crowd at the party here and maintaining the pressure on Madrid's goal.
Ball cleared by Lunin, held up brilliantly by Bellingham again, turning away from those light blue jerseys and then looking for the return over the top. Vinicius Junior might get there ahead of Gvardiol. Gvardiol did well enough and then lost out to Valverde. There's space on the left for Rodrigo. He went to the right instead to Bellingham. It will work its way to Rodrigo via Kroos, and he comes forward, the goal scorer, into a congested area, then shoots right-footed down the middle of the goal, but it's well over the top of the crossbar, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left. 1-0 to Real Madrid on the night, with 5 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, I know I've mentioned it about 14 times already, but Bellingham's hold-up play for a non-centre forward, for a midfield player, playing with his back to goal has been absolutely sensational.
2 balls on the pitch, so we'll have a break in play here. And Daniele Osato says, well, unfortunately I have to come over and do an uncontested drop ball as a result of that. So he picks the ball up, throws it into the air, and gives it straight back to Kyle Walker, who had it anyway. It's the rules though, right? It's the laws. It's the laws. You have to play by the laws.
I'd book him for time wasting for doing that. I really would.
1-0 to Real Madrid. This is TalkSport 2. Here is Grealish, far side, taking the ball out of the sky and looking for a bit of setup. Needs a bit of help from Josko Gvardiol, who plays a good pass out to Bernardo Silva down the inside left channel. Further wide it goes to Grealish, who approaches the edge of the penalty area, down by the byline. Bernardo Silva produces crosses the boxes to the near post, and it's easily caught. Easily caught.
Yeah, he just hasn't. He's burst brilliantly to just inside the box, right on the byline, and just one cross too short, one cross too long. Next one's going to be on the money.
Let's see what happened. Bellingham, though, has released Camavinga up the field, and he's being watched by De Bruyne. And De Bruyne, I mean, to get back like that and pinch the ball and then start an attack, absolutely sensational from De Bruyne, who then sends Haaland, tries to get it in behind. Nacho has to clear off the line because he went round his own goalkeeper.
I've no idea what Nacho was thinking there, going round his own goalkeeper. I would have just probably muscled Haaland out and let the goalie deal with it. He didn't do that. He took control of the situation. And as long as it's cleared, he's done the right thing, I suppose.
And it is cleared, and it is out for a corner over on the far side, and it'll be taken by De Bruyne. Almost got himself into a real spot of bother there, the captain of Real Madrid, because he dived in, took the ball away from Andre Lunin when he could have really taken charge, and he had to scurry back in front of Haaland and put it out of play. It was a huge mistake which could have had huge consequences for Madrid. Corner far side to be taken by De Bruyne. De Bruyne, who has placed the ball down in the quadrant, is waiting for the referee to sort out a bit of jiggery-pokery inside the 6-yard box. He approaches it right-footed, then sends it short to Grealish, then gets the return, a deep across the far post, it's away, comes back to Foden, who shoots it at goal and just didn't get hold of it well enough, and it's straight at Lunin. It's an easy catch.
Yeah, he's decided to take it on the side foot instead of putting his laces through it like Grealish did a few moments earlier, and the bounce took all the sting out of the effort.
Here is Camavinga, snaffled by Bernardo Silva, taken on by Valverde. Haaland coming back to put him under pressure. Valverde does brilliantly to turn and hold it up. Goes back to Nacho, it's a poor clearance by him, and Haaland's pinched it. And now Foden, and now Rodri, and he goes bounding down the outside. Across comes Valverde. Valverde, I mean, he hardly got a touch. The ball goes out of play, and it's away for a throw-in, and Daniele Osata says, no chance. Play on, and they do. Up to the halfway line, Rodrigo has it, Vinicius goes on the outside, Bellingham goes through the centre, Vinicius in a foot race with Walker, Walker puts his foot to the pedal and gets beyond Vinicius Junior and sees the ball out of play, and the City fans love that show of speed from 33-year-old Kyle Walker.
Oh, the game's getting stretched now, the fans are urging their team on.
Going from end to end, it's a bit more like the first leg of this encounter now. 1-0 to Real Madrid, live on TalkSport 2 tonight. 54 on the clock, and it's over on the far touchline with De Bruyne, and then Grealish, and then back in field. It's gone to Akanji, and Akanji gives it to Rodri. Rodri under pressure, tries to turn away from Bellingham, goes on the outside, plays it left, collected now by Jack Grealish, who scurries down the left side. His cross is blocked, it goes out for a corner, and Manchester City have another chance to put the ball in the box.
Yeah, and what we've seen so far in this game, City's build-up play is probably slightly stronger than Madrid's, but Madrid's counter-attack threat is certainly a little bit stronger with the pace they've got to offer.
Corner kick number 12. Madrid haven't had one yet. It's in towards the near post. It's flicked goalwards by Vardiol and cleared off the line by Lunin. Back in towards the penalty area it goes. Bellingham away. Mendy's encouraged to get back to his feet. They've stopped the game here. And I think Madrid actually thought they could escape, but they didn't. And I think Mendy's suggesting it was a elbow into his face, which has caused him grief. And that is why he has gone down. He had eyes for the ball, Rodri, but he did get something in the face there, Mendy, and the free kick has been given in his favour. Well, what a week this is for Manchester City. Could be a season-defining 8 days. In the dream scenario, the team from East Manchester qualified for the semi-finals of the Champions League, set up another FA Cup final and beat Brighton next Thursday to close in on another treble. Football doesn't always work like that. There is a counterpoint. What happens if they go out here, stumble against Chelsea and lose the lead in the Premier League before kick-off against Brighton, who have troubled them before? It is what makes the next week so compelling, and all of those games are live on TalkSport.
Well, I think every game in April and May, certainly for the likes of Manchester City, should be season defining, really, shouldn't they? If they want to carry on the vein that Pep set at this football club.
Here is Grealish over on the far side as a young waitress comes down through the crowd to serve a cup of coffee with a little sugar pot to someone in the Tunnel Club. Was that a service that you introduced when you were the manager here?
Listen, we didn't even have a budget for a coffee machine. Don't worry about that.
It is taking things to an extreme level when you're getting served like that in the middle of the second half, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I've seen behind the scenes here, the nth degree. It's five-star service at this football club behind the scenes.
Can they come up with a five-star performance to overcome Real Madrid? Jorge Valdano said last week, this is the modern Clasico. It's certainly living up to its billing. Silva onto Rodri, edge of the area, tries to go down the right-hand side, goes past Rodrigo, gets it to Bernardo Silva, and it's played in field. I just wonder whether or not we've just had a little shift of shape with Foden going in the centre and Silva coming out to the right-hand side. He's on the ball now, Bernardo Silva, on that right side, into Foden, just into the centre, plays it to Diaz and then back out to Walker, who spins across into the centre, comes out as far as Akanji, who was leaning backwards when he hit it, and after chesting it down initially, it was only elevation that he could get onto it, and he skied it into the Madrid fans.
Yeah, as I say, he done well. First touch was good, then he's just got to wrap his body around it. Set up really nicely for him. Should have got over the top of that. Pep looks at the skies in frustration.
Haaland harassing Nacho. The ball's out of play. He's the weak link. They've got to prey on him. Rodri trying to get a shot away, hits it straight against De Bruyne, and it bounces kindly for Vinicius, who slips over as he weaves past Bosco Vardiol, and then it's picked up on the far side by Valverde, who's being harassed by Grealish, good pressing by the England man, and he's done brilliantly again to rob the ball from Carvajal. A free kick has been given against him. Dani Carvajal is rolling around as if he's just been nobbled by someone with a baseball bat across his shins, when actually he just got a little flick of one of Grealish's boots.
Yeah, I think between now and 90 minutes there's going to be a lot of slow Madrid players getting off the surface. Good press though by City. As soon as they lost it, every man's after the ball, setting the tempo of the game. That's what they've got to do now.
Haaland gets it back to his goalkeeper, and then it's cleared away out towards the far side. Now it's with Carvajal, who charges over halfway. Grealish trying to get there. Grealish brings him down. He's going to get a yellow card now. He stopped him in his tracks, and it's going to be a yellow card for Jack Grealish. And a dangerous position from which to have a set piece for Real Madrid.
Yeah, tempting to recover there, trying to hook his foot round, and he was way short of doing that.
Free kick, 20 yards outside the penalty area, on the right side. And it's Real Madrid who lead by a goal to nil as we hit the hour mark on TalkSport 2 this evening. And it's going to be a free kick to Madrid. It's in by Kroos, looking for Nacho. The ball's loose inside the box. It's half cleared by Silva. It'll come back again from Ferland Mendy. Mendy back to Kroos, and then back to Valverde. Valverde tries to tee it up into the path of Carvajal. Infield to Bellingham, and then it goes loose out towards the far side. De Bruyne picks it up, scurries forward, faces up Mendy, comes inside, tries to lay it off, can't get there. Camavinga pokes out a limb and pushes it out towards the far side, and it's cleared by Real Madrid, who lead by a goal to nil. Loose now inside the Madrid half. Vinicius can't get there, but Walker does. Set up by Haaland into Foden, and Foden's shot is blocked by Rudiger. It's out for a throw over the far side. Half an hour to go.
It's a good set-up play there by Haaland on that occasion. Set it down to Foden, and a great block by Rudiger.
Ball tossed in by Grealish, and he's given it away, and Bellingham was threatening to escape there, and Josko Vardiol went over, brought him down, and Bellingham has drawn not only a free kick but a yellow card for Josko Gvardiol.
Yeah, he seems to be in some discomfort. You never actually know these days.
Well, he caught him from behind, didn't he? It was a little nick on his left foot. It's a yellow card, I think. I don't think there's much more that you can say apart from that. It was probably deserving of a yellow card. Manchester City trying to find a way back into this game. They've had a lot of the ball, they've had a lot of half chances and opportunities, but nothing too clear-cut since the start of the second half. 18 goal attempts, 6 on target. They've had an expected goal total of 1.06 compared to Madrid's 0.99, but it's Madrid who lead, and it's Madrid who at this moment in time are going through, and they're only half an hour away from doing that. It's still 0-0, by the way, in the game over on TalkSport between Bayern Munich and Arsenal, and if it stays like that, they will be going to extra time. We need a City goal to go to extra time here. What Manchester City won't want to do, Stuart, and they won't want to go out full stop, but to go out without really having a proper go at it and feeling as if they've really tested an inflexible back line, I think will be rather disappointing. It's not very often that they're stopped from scoring.
No, it isn't, but I think we've got to give Madrid a lot of credit within that. The shape's very good. They're very narrow and very congested in the centre of the park, allowing City to go into wide areas. They've been breached on a couple of times, namely certainly in the first half by De Bruyne in the inside right position.
Well, a lot can change in 28 minutes, and Manchester City will certainly hope that it does, because it's Manchester City 0, Real Madrid 1 in the Champions League, live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. Visit villagehotels.com. And there has been a goal in the Allianz Arena, and Bayern Munich have taken the lead. Here is Bernardo Silva down the right side, cutting in on his left foot, sending it back to Foden inside the D. Didn't control it well enough. It was cleared against the midriff of the referee. Oh, he's been winded. The game's got to stop. The referee needs treatment. Quick, get him a stretcher. He needs a gulp of air. Crikey. That was a bit dramatic, wasn't it, from Daniele Orsato?
Can't help thinking there's sarcasm in your voice there, sir.
No, what are you talking about, me? Straight down the line, my old chap. Whereas I don't think Erling Haaland is being as generous. He's told, look, he's rubbing his belly. But a dodgy porridge. Crikey, get on with it. City 0, Real Madrid 1.
Yeah. He's no longer running, he's shuffling through the midfield, the referee.
26 to go. Look at the tetchiness with Pep Guardiola scratching his chin, looking up at the big clock away to our right-hand side, which reads 64 minutes on it. He knows that there's still a lot of time still to play. They need to up their game here. Their tempo wasn't right in the first half, that's for sure. Madrid have been brilliant tactically. I said that at half-time, and I stand by it. I thought they've approached the game really well. But Manchester City do need to up the tempo if they want to get back into this game, I think. Bernardo Silva into Walker. Back infield it goes to Ruben Diaz. Across to Gvardiol. A little bit sketchy at the start of the second half, and I've mentioned it before, I do think there is something in the fact that no one gets back into their seats here for a good 10 minutes after half-time, and there's a lot of movement in the crowd during that first 10 minutes. I wonder if it's a little distracting, even for the players. I mean, you'll tell me that maybe they can blank all that out, but it does feel like quite a sort of distracted atmosphere for the first 10 minutes of a second half in this stadium.
Well, the only way they'll be distracted is if they've ordered a coffee and then waiting for a waitress to come.
Foden down the left side, getting into the box, pokes it wide towards Grealish. Grealish into the penalty area, tries to push it back to Rodri. Rodri sends it to the other side, where Silva is waiting. He faces up Ferland Mendy, comes out of the area, goes back to Walker. They're putting the press on here and pushing towards the goal. The pressure is being amped up by Manchester City, but can they breach this impenetrable Real Madrid defence, or not like that, because the ball's been sent wide to De Bruyne and his cross is poor. It goes behind and away for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think the team and the stadium need Pep now. They need some histrionics from him, some body language, just to generate a bit of excitement. At the moment, he's got his hands in pockets.
That's a good point, actually, because usually
sat down for a long period. So.
Usually, if he's not happy, he comes out and he does all that sort of revving up the crowd, acting as the cheerleader, doesn't he? Tries to turn the temperature up in here. He hasn't done that yet.
No, I think they need that at this stage.
Rodri out to the right-hand side. Atmosphere is not as vociferous as maybe it needs to be inside the Etihad Stadium. 1-0 to Real Madrid. And time is ticking away here. The ball on the near touchline. It's taken on by Bernardo Silva. Skates his way to the edge of the box. Lovely reverse ball to De Bruyne, but it was just too heavy. And it goes out of play. The idea was right. And now here he is, the cheerleader extraordinaire, trying to raise the levels of noise inside the stadium.
Yeah, I think he just checked himself there, caught himself in the moment and thought this is what's needed. We need some inspiration. I wonder whether that inspiration will come from the bench.
Still not great, you know what I mean? All right, I've turned it up a little bit now, but it's the Madrid fans that you can hear more than anything else inside the stadium. Let's see if they are going to introduce something from the bench, because they do have the likes of Jeremy Doku and Alvarez available, and they may well think about utilising those players as the ball goes out to the far side, collected now by Josko Gvardiol from inside the Man City half out to the left, over the halfway line, travelling forward is Akanji. He plays it right to Rodri. Rodri then checks, comes back infield, sends it on to Bernardo Silva, who moves into an advanced position, gets it back to the apex of the penalty area. De Bruyne swirls across in towards Grealish, flicked away by Carvajal, backing by Gvardiol, edge of the box Akanji. Then it's wide again to De Bruyne. De Bruyne looking up. It's got Haaland in the centre. It's back to Gvardiol once again. Again, the pressure is on, and Madrid with 10 men behind the ball as Akanji tries to send it into the left channel, but every gap is plugged. Every little bit of space has got a dark shirt there to close it down, and City are finding it hard to prize a way through.
Well, I think if Madrid leave this stadium winning it 1-0 or keeping a clean sheet, they'll look at this and say it's been a magnificent defensive performance from front to back.
Agreed. And they'd probably be right to do so. 22 to go. Bellingham dives in. I think he's given a throw on the far side, not a free kick. Their experience is there for all to see. Real Madrid, they've got an experienced manager. No one's taken charge of more Champions League games than him. They are in their 40th European Cup / Champions League quarter-final tie tonight. A competition record. Madrid. It's a club that comes with course and distance. Well won by De Bruyne, who's done brilliantly. Found Akanji. Then it's into Diaz. Need more from Foden, from Silva at this moment in time, and from Haaland, who's inside the box. De Bruyne's trying to do it all on his own at this moment in time. He flicks a cross in. It's blocked by Dani Carvajal, and it's out over on the far side for a corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen Manchester City have so many corners in a game. I really haven't.
More corners than a dodecahedron tonight. Here is the latest one of them, right-footed in towards the near post. It's a bit of a mess and it's cleared away. It goes out for a goal kick. It didn't even really trouble anyone inside that 18-yard box. It just tried to do something a little bit cute, didn't work.
Yeah, I just wonder whether there's a little bit of belief ebbing away from this Manchester City team at the moment. It's not the case, but they need something special from an individual. Someone to pull a shot out from the edge of the box.
It's just 1-0. And this is Manchester City, and here is Jeremy Doku. He throws his gloves to the floor, he takes his training top off, he says, hand me the shirt, I'm ready, I'm willing. We'll find out if he's able. He was magnificent at the weekend. Here's Grealish down the left-hand side, darting into the box, he's played into the near post, it comes back off the goalkeeper and Foden can't get there. It bounced off Lunin, couldn't hold the initial drive from the goalkeeper, and now Ancelotti and Ancelotti are having a go at each other. That's Davide Ancelotti and Carlo Ancelotti have just had a stand-up row inside the technical area.
Well, there's only one man who wins that, the head honcho.
Here is Bellingham inside the centre circle. Maybe he's had a little bit too much cheese. It's Rudiger up to halfway. Valverde. Oh, Vinicius Junior is in behind here if they can find him. And the ball from Valverde's not good enough, and Ederson sweeps it up. What a chance to win the tie.
Well, we are at that stage, Sam. As I said, I think 70 minutes on the clock. I think we're in the death zone, as they say in football. Another goal from Madrid, and I think they'll put the lights out.
But a goal from Manchester City changes the mood in this stadium. A mood that has gone flat. A mood that has started to worry about what will befall them. Ball into the box by Rodri, cut out. Rodrigo turns and runs. We're yet to see a substitute in this game, but we're going to see one now. And as a foul is committed by Akanji, it's going to be Jeremy Doku who comes on. And Jack Grealish, who sprints off on the near touchline, knowing that actually he's contributed to this game and he's actually played quite well.
I'll tell you what, I was just going to say before he got took off, for me, it would have probably been Silva or Foden to come off, and that's a big call of any of them, to be honest with you, because I think Grealish has been a very, very good outlet for him.
He's played well tonight.
Yeah.
And he's been good going back the way as well when he's needed to.
Indeed.
And that's the kind of discipline and energy that England are going to need in the summer, and he's certainly put himself front and centre for that. Foden hasn't really sparkled in the game. They had made that tactical tweak a little while ago now, with Foden's gone in the middle, but even there he hasn't seen much of the ball.
No, it's very congested.
Ball out wide on the left, and Doku takes it down, runs at the figure of Valverde, beats him, then tries to take on Carvajal, does well. Valverde comes away with the ball after it's cleared, and it's hit right up over the halfway line and towards Vinicius Junior, who's got hold of it and needs a bit of backup. Rodrigo is there to help him. He stops it, holds up, does brilliantly, takes it down the left side, waits for the run of Rodrigo, and then rather intelligently just keeps hold of the ball, no need to, feeds Mendy. Mendy goes back to Nacho. Nacho goes back to Lunin.
Got to say, good hold-up play, sensible play there by Vinicius Junior. Realised he couldn't burst away from anyone and just gain time and momentum.
Not sensible by Carvajal, plays it against Doku and releases the ball, gives it to Foden. Foden with a poor cross through the 18-yard box, it goes out the other side. And they'll be picked up by Rodrigo, and time is ticking away. 17 to go. And Manchester City need a goal from somewhere. Valverde trying to control it on the halfway line. Touched by Ruben Diaz. The ball runs loose. Foden spins it out to the near side. Bernardo Silva attacks the box. He gives it to Rodri, gets it back again. Infield to Akanji. A square pass onto Vardiol. Collected by Jeremy Doku. Looks up, sees Carvajal in front of him. Goes to the right instead and finds Vardiol. Edge of the area is Rodri. Right side of the box is Bernardo Silva. The City machine coming forward at pace, but they're dealing with it. Real Madrid. Here's Rodri. Needs to make an intervention. Out to the left, it goes to Doku. Is there going to be a blockbuster moment here? Doku into the box, blocked by Carvajal. Spills out the far side. De Bruyne keeps it alive. Comes back to Rodri again, edge of the area. Still 1-0 to Real Madrid. We played 74 minutes. Manchester City are knocking at the door, but that door will not creak, it will not open, it will not yield. Akanji down the right, back to Bernardo Silva, a congested area, a block by Kroos, the ball bobbles to the near side, a celebration by the German, and City win a throw down the right side.
Well, I've got to say, all they need is something to just fall to them. At the moment, Madrid have done brilliantly, just blocking up any shooting lines. No one on the edge of the box can get out of their feet to get a sighter of goal. And they're dealing quite well in the wide areas.
I think if they get one, they get two.
Indeed.
Vardiol, 15 minutes to go. On to Diaz. Diaz down the right, collected by Manchester City's Bernardo Silva. He's midway inside the Real Madrid half. He sends it back into the centre where Kyle Walker looks up, strides forward, lays it off to Bernardo Silva again. Further wide it goes now towards Rodri, who comes infield, lays it off. Kyle Walker on the ball in the middle of the park, sends it into Rodri again. Foden again, everybody behind the ball in Madrid colours. It's lifted out to the far side into Doku. He can open up a low block as we saw at the weekend. He goes on the outside, low cross into the box, comes to De Bruyne, and he smashes it into the roof of the net, and they're level. Kevin De Bruyne with the goal, Doku with the intervention, and that rigid, resolute Real Madrid defence is finally unlocked by Kevin De Bruyne. 1-1 on the night, 4-4 on aggregate, and it's game on!
Well, they just needed something to fall to them in the box. All shooting lines blocked off vast swathes of this game. Doku hit it across the face of the goal. It dropped to De Bruyne and he dispatched it into the roof of the net fantastically well. And it was a poor clearance. I think it was Rudiger potentially at that near post. Couldn't sort his feet out. And De Bruyne was Johnny on the spot. Just to lift it into the roof of the net. Great finish. Game on.
Perfect time to score the goal as well. 76 minutes on the clock. And Guardiola celebrated. Guardiola knew. Guardiola felt the relief inside the Etihad Stadium. And Kevin De Bruyne, who was trying to do everything on his own, got a little bit of help from Jeremy Doku. And now Manchester City need a goal to qualify.
Yeah, Rudiger won't be pleased with his contribution there. It was driven at him, admittedly, but he just collapsed on his haunches. Just left the ball there for De Bruyne.
What have Real Madrid got now? A semi-final awaits. Bayern Munich lead by a goal to nil. Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 1. Dundee 0, Rangers 0. It's going to be another blow for Philippe Clement if they don't get over the line there. Manchester City for so long nervous, tense, a stadium full of anxiety. But now maybe with freedom, because they know that one more goal will take them through. If it stays like this, we'll have extra time on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Arsenal heading out. Manchester City with hope. The ball's on the right, collected by Bernardo Silva. Skates to the edge of the area. Real Madrid, will that affect them? They've defended so well. Will it take the wind out of their sails? Will it just mean that they take just a little bit out of their desire to close down, to stop? Will there be that commitment that there was in that first 60, 70 minutes? Here's Doku, edge of the area. Akanji, the pressure's still on. De Bruyne, edge of the box, left-footed, curling it towards the far corner over the bar by an inch, and it may well have taken a little nick off the glove. The referee is this time saying goal kick.
Well, as soon as it arrived across the face of the box to De Bruyne, you felt as though if you're going to shut him down, make sure you don't over-exaggerate. He's coming back on his left foot, and I think the goalkeeper saved that.
I did as well.
I think he got a brilliant touch on it.
Well, it's in moments like this where you feel as if there needs to be a change of momentum, and with Manchester City firmly in control of the match, Real Madrid are going to take off Rodrigo, their goal scorer, and bring on Luka Modric. And Luka Modric, last week when he came off the bench, had a huge impact in the game.
Well, listen, what a player to bring off your bench. You know, he's an outstanding talent, and I think it's Kroos.
It is, they've changed their mind. Actually,
yeah, and I'm
it
not
was
surprised.
Rodrigo came over to the near touchline because the 11 went up, and then as he got over, Davide Ancelotti went over to the fourth official and said no, and changed it to Kroos, and Kroos has been replaced.
Yeah, I think probably he has been the weaker of the midfield players, and to take Rodrigo off, I think would have been folly. There's plenty of this game left.
Yes, there is, and there may well be extra time to come, because there's 10 minutes plus additional time. If it stays as it is at this moment in time, well, we've got another 30. But here's Doku, dancing his way forward, bumps into Carvajal. He was pulled back beforehand, and he gets a free kick just left of the centre circle. Oh, Vinicius and Walker having a little bit of a set-to on this near side, and Vinicius is not happy about it. It's going to be a free kick just left of the centre circle, eventually given to Manchester City, and Akanji gets things moving at pace. Diaz, now Akanji, closed down by Rodrigo. And they need him for the press, I think, as well, and for the escape route should they win the ball. Bellingham tries to get the better of Josko Gvardiol. He pokes it down the left side. It'll break to Modric, who immediately spins the ball in behind. You'll see that becoming a tactic in the last 10 minutes of this game. Rodri to the right, De Bruyne back to Walker, Walker to De Bruyne, and then he tries to bend the ball round the back of the defence, and Nacho is there to stop it from reaching Haaland. It goes out for a throwing down by the corner flag on this right-hand side for Manchester City. 1-1, 4-4 on aggregate.
Yeah, I'm looking at Madrid now. There's players slow getting back into that shape that's been so difficult to break down. Now's the time they need that shape just to see them over the line.
Tiredness creeping in. Bernardo Silva to Rodri, and then back infield to Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz to the far side. Life in this game, that's for sure. 1-1 on the night, 4-4 in aggregate. Doku coming forward now to the edge of the area. Gives it to the edge of the box. It goes back to De Bruyne. It's over the bar. He's missed the golden chance. Well, there was a lovely ball by Akanji through the 6-yard box. It came out towards the penalty spot. De Bruyne can't believe he's missed.
I'm not sure there'll be a better chance this half. Akanji's pulled it back. It's gone through absolutely swathes of bodies. And De Bruyne has opened up his right foot, side-footed it over the top of the goal. That was a poor miss by his standards.
Well, will that come back to haunt Pep Guardiola, who puts his right hand slap on his forehead and closes his eyes as if to say that was a moment. That was a big moment. Forward by Carvajal, away by Walker. Chested down on the edge of the centre circle. City have it again. It's 1-1 on the night in the Champions League quarter-final second leg. And it's all to play for now.
I just get the impression the Madrid players are finding this very, very difficult now. Playing without the ball for long periods. City on the ascendancy.
They've been manipulated and moved all over the park. They've been tired and wearied by a constant Manchester City machine, side to side, front to back. Here they come again. Right side Silva, central Walker, back into the middle and Diaz, out to the left and Doku. They come now to attack that left flank with Doku with the ball at his feet, tried to release Foden. The two weren't on the same wavelength. The ball goes behind. More disappointment for the demonstrative Guardiola, and it's a goal kick away to our right-hand side, 1-1.
Madrid just reaching for the substitutes bench once again.
Former City player Brahim Diaz about to come on.
Trying to break the momentum, I think, of City at the moment. They're the team going forward. And the counter-attacks have been few and far between this half.
Yes, those opportunities to get out have not been forthcoming, and I do think now that Rodrigo is going to come off and be replaced by Brahim Diaz, the Moroccan international as he is now, and he goes on to try and help unlock the City defence or find a way out. There's a lot of creative players in that midfield now. Modric and Brahim Diaz and Jude Bellingham, Valverde, who's got a lot of legs and can also drift crosses in from the right-hand side. But Doku is a absolute whirlwind. He's like the Tasmanian devil, and he picked up the ball on the left-hand side. He danced past two challenges. Camavinga brought him down. Free kick in from the touchline opposite us.
Yeah, his movement from a standing start is quite incredible. So quick.
Yeah, whips himself up into a tornado and escapes, doesn't he, down the touchline. Another wide player you'd love to mark back in your day?
No, he's not for me. I'm pleased to see him terrorising right-backs over that side of the pitch.
You'd be saying to whoever it was who was over on that side, Brian Laws, get a bit closer to him, will you? Ball sent out towards the near touchline. Silva taps it into De Bruyne. Heavy touch. Mendy away. Modric out to the near side, and Brahim Diaz, and he flicks it away from Bernardo Silva. Tries to escape, brings him down, gives away a free kick to Manchester City. An unnecessary challenge.
Yeah, poor challenge there. As I say, Silva knew exactly what he was doing. Slowed down enough to initiate contact. And it's the momentum change. They need Modric now to get his foot on the ball and slow things down for them.
The question is, though, the momentum may have changed, but it's still 1-1. Anything can happen.
Exactly that. As I say, when City did score their goal, you felt as though, maybe tonight they won't score, you know? There was no momentum, was there? They had the ball, they were knocking on the door was firmly shut, and all of a sudden a slip by Rudiger drops to De Bruyne, it's in the back of the net.
Here is Foden trying to release Doku again. He's a yard in from the touchline. Doku and the Belgian scurries forward and tries to get the better of Dani Carvajal. Gets to the byline, being chased out to the far side. And Doku getting away, pulls it back to Akanji. Akanji to Rodri. De Bruyne edge of the D. He goes further wide to Bernardo Silva. 85 on the clock, 1-1. Here is Bernardo Silva. Can he get the ball into the box? He's being trapped by Mendy. He couldn't really. So he sent it wide to the far side, and Doku has to sprint to keep it in. Manchester City, who only have a 2-point lead at the top of the Premier League, a lead that will be cut by the time they play Brighton, most probably next Thursday night. Arsenal play twice between now and then. And the general assumption has been that City have not been at their best this season, yet winning a treble and going on an unbeaten run to do it for a second successive season would certainly dispel that myth. Here is Rodri into Vardiol, back to Akanji. Left side of the area is Foden going down the side of the box. Gets it back to Foden, does Doku, and his shot crashes off of Camavinga and goes out for a throw in far side.
Yeah, you just get the impression with this Madrid side, they're finding it fatigued, their body language, they're not bursting around, they're not helping each other out.
One more chance for Manchester City. One big moment. Should they take it and make it, they will be in the semi-finals again. Out to the far side for Doku. Doku has been an inspiration since coming off the bench and set up the equalising goal. Finds Akanji down by the byline, tries to pull it back through the box. The ball's bouncing around inside the area. It goes out for another corner to Manchester City after, in the end, the Madrid defence had to take emergency action.
Well, I'm losing count of the times that little blind runs behind the back, behind the full-back to the byline for City. They're getting in. They've got in
by Akanji.
Akanji on a couple of times. Doku's got in there. Silva got in there twice and didn't deliver the cross.
Here is the corner to be taken by De Bruyne. He hits it right, but it's a deep one towards Haaland, who heads it towards goal and misses the target. Hits the side netting.
Yeah, good opportunity there. Lofted up. Bellingham done enough just to put Haaland off.
It's his 25th game against Madrid as a coach, Pep Guardiola. His record 13 wins, 6 draws, 5 defeats. No wonder he's described as the favourite enemy of the Madrissimo.
I think at times in games it's quality, it's this, it's that, but it's moral courage, and that's what certainly both teams need at the moment to see this one out.
Manchester City making pleads to the fourth official down in front of us. I don't know what that's all about. Ball is cleared by Ferland Mendy. Pep Guardiola does a Mr. Bean impression as he sort of tries to dance out to the near touchline to grab hold of the ball, then gets it off of the ball boy, gives it to Akanji, and they get things moving again. He thinks that there's still time for them to get a winner here. Time ticking away. We got 90 seconds of normal time before extra time on TalkSport 2. Ball out wide on the left-hand side. It's still 1-0 in Bavaria. Bayern Munich about to knock out Arsenal. Here it's finally poised, and the ball's over on the far side with Doku. Doku travelling down the touchline, goes infield and finds Rodri. Rodri just left of the centre circle, looks up, being held up by Bellingham, has to turn it back to Ruben Diaz. Diaz now inside the centre circle, prods it on. It's collected by Akanji, out wide towards the left. Doku takes over, moves into towards the box, gets to the byline. The ball bounces. Modric intervenes, manages to get it clear, and now the counter-attack is on, and Brahim Diaz is getting away. He's not, because Rodri has just grabbed him round the neck, Giorgio Chiellini style, in the final of the European Championship, when he pulled back Bukayo Saka and thrown him to the floor.
Well, opportunity for the counter there, and it's probably the first time for at least 20 minutes that Madrid have had that opportunity. And as I say, it'll be interesting, the use of the bench, what Pep's going to do, whether he sees that there's movement on the bench that's going to help the team out.
Yep, we'll see what happens when the board goes up for the additional time as well. That's going to be important now. Throw-in has been given on the far side to Real Madrid, and City weren't happy about it. They say it was controversial. It has gone out, and it's going to be 4 minutes of added time before extra time.
Yeah, I've got to say, what I've seen from Madrid of recent times in the game is too many of their players are facing their goal when the ball's beyond them.
Here is Vinicius challenging with Akanji, who's back helping out his defence. He's been one of the lead attackers in the second half. Nacho with a header, out of play. They've scored a lot of goals, by the way, Madrid, very, very late in games. Referee, who didn't have a clue whether or not the ball had gone out of play on this near side, leant on his linesman to suggest that Vinicius was offside, and has given the free kick to Manchester City, who send it long out towards Doku, headed down by Carvajal. It goes back by Gvardiol to Doku, who looked to escape. Across came Rudiger and cleared. There was a collision involving Carvajal, and Doku is going to be penalised for that. And looks like it's going to be a free kick over on the far side. I didn't really see much wrong with what Doku did there. He just sort of got away and maybe just caught him underneath the chin as he used his arm to power clear. I don't think that's a foul.
I've got to say, the referee was mimicking, there was an elbow there. If you think it's an elbow, you're sending him off. You know, too often this day and age, the reaction of the player hitting the surface ends up dictating the referee's decision, sadly.
I think Madrid just want to get to extra time. Here's Bellingham out wide towards Valverde, who slips it down the right. Bellingham trying to get to the edge of the area, sends a long cross into the centre, which goes straight to the arms of Ederson. And now Manchester City maybe with one last charge forward. It's Rodri, through to Foden, then back to De Bruyne. Out to the left there is Doku. Doku's going to get there because Carvajal has missed it. He's moved into the left wing position, Doku. Doku looking to get the ball to the edge of the box. Rodri, can he bring the hammer down on it? No. He did hit it, but it was without the venom that you would require to beat Lunin. And it goes into the arms of the Ukrainian, and it's still 1-1, 4-4 on aggregate.
Well, we've had 3 hours of football plus. Still can't separate these two giants of Europe at the moment, and we look as though we're going all the way to extra time.
We certainly do.
And maybe beyond.
And maybe beyond. The test of nerve, the dreaded penalty shootout. Ball is with Vinicius down the left-hand side. He gets the better of Akanji, moves towards the edge of the area. It rebounds into the path of Brahim Diaz, and then Silva steps across and wins it back for Manchester City. Haaland being wrestled by Nacho, sets it back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne then pings it out towards the far side. He's hoping that Doku can reach that. He can't. It goes out of play, and it's away for a throw-in midway inside the Real Madrid half, and we've got 1 minute of added time to play on TalkSport 2.
Well, I think both teams at this stage have probably decided to take the extra time and see where it takes us.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind watching another 30 minutes, do you?
More than happy.
Okay, well, why don't you stay with us and we'll take you through extra time then on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Here is Camavinga, out to the left, collected by Ferland Mendy, up to Brahim Diaz, pinched by Walker, challenged by Mendy. Referee initially was going to play on, now he's going to book Mendy on this near side. And Carlo Ancelotti says it was just a full-blooded challenge. What the hell's your problem with that? And the referee says, I do have a problem with it, and I'm dishing out a yellow card.
Yeah, I think that was an outstandingly good tackle, personally, and so did Mendy.
I thought you'd like that. It was robust, wasn't it?
It was a wonderful challenge. I've got to say, since Brahim Diaz has been on, he's been woeful, hasn't he?
He's not settled into the game yet, Stuart, I don't think.
I think you're kinder with words than I am.
De Bruyne down the right side, trying to get the ball across. It's deflected away by Nacho, and it goes out for a corner. Another corner for Manchester City. And is there one last spark? Is there one last moment? Is there one last throw of the dice that sends City through to a semi-final before and without the need of extra time? De Bruyne comes over towards the quadrant to take yet another corner. He's taken an inordinate number of these tonight. This one, can he make it pay? Madrid starting to panic and wilt a little bit under the pressure of the Manchester City machine. It's going to be De Bruyne, right-footed, an outswinger, hand in the air. He steps up, delivers the ball in towards Akanji. It's down for Haaland, and he can't get hold of it. It bobbles over the bar and out for a goal kick. And that is the conclusion of the 90 minutes. And after 2 90-minute games, we cannot separate the leaders of the Premier League and the leaders of La Liga. As a result, 30 minutes of extra time to come. It's finished 1-1 on the night. Manchester City 4, Real Madrid 4 on aggregate.
Champions League live on TalkSport 2 with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, Village Hotels have everything under one roof for a great breakaway.
Stop! Did you know it's not just about cars? They also buy vans too. Big ones, small ones, and everything in between. So let's give vans the spotlight. Just sold my van to We Buy Any Van. To find out how much your van's worth in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyVan.com. Admin fee may apply. For more information, visit WeBuyAnyVan.com/info.
Not everything in golf makes sense, but buying pre-owned clubs does. We're GolfBidder, an official partner of the PGA that helped millions of golfers over the last 25 years find quality and affordable clubs to improve their game. So while you may not always trust your swing, you can trust our clubs. Golf is difficult. Buying great value pre-owned clubs isn't. Browse thousands of premium clubs and use code TalkSport5 for 5% off at golfbidder.co.uk.
Sometimes you just need to get away. And for the Agarwal family, it was well overdue. They wanted to know exactly what they were getting, like knowing their kids stay and eat a delicious breakfast for free.
Yes.
And no need to lug heavy bags, with free parking at over 500 hotels. Enjoy the same feeling whatever the trip. Premier Inn. Rest easy. Book direct for the best rates at premierin.com. T's and C's apply. Up to 2 kids stay and eat breakfast free with a full paying adult.
Hear the biggest sports stories first and fast with the Back Page Review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Listen to TalkSport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 for the latest breaking Back Page news, plus unbeatable reaction, opinion and comment. The Back Page Review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile, every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
Thursday night, the Europa Conference League live
On TalkSport 2.
He's gone straight in!
Lille versus Aston Villa.
Coverage from 5:30, kick-off 5:45.
What a great bit of play.
Thursday night on TalkSport 2.
Football fantastic. Give us a goal. On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker.
Oh, what a finish!
The Champions League live on TalkSport 2.
Two teams are getting ready for extra time. Rodrigo on 12 put Real Madrid in front. Kevin De Bruyne on 76 with the leveller. 1-1 on the night, 4-4 on aggregates. The Gunners are goners. What about Manchester City in the Champions League? Extra time coming to you live on TalkSport with Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface.
And the Gunners may be goners, and so is Erling Haaland, because he has been replaced ahead of extra time here at the Etihad Stadium by Julian Alvarez. It's the second substitution of the evening. Doku came on and made a real difference in that second half and changed the momentum of the match, added attacking flair to Manchester City, which wasn't apparent prior to his arrival. It's a game where Madrid have sat soaked. They've defended brilliantly over the course of the 90 minutes, but they were just tiring towards the end, and City, who had piled on the pressure time and time again, eventually got their breakthrough and got on the scoreboard, level things up, and that, Stuart Pearce, is why we face 30 minutes of extra time.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. It's no surprise to me that Haaland's come off. I don't think he's on particularly good form at the moment, and I think he felt as though he needed to change that front line, and Alvarez has got the run out.
He has, and we're about to start our first period of 15 minutes, and we're going to have two 15-minute periods, and if we can't settle the score between these two, we will go to penalties. And it's the light blue jerseys, white shorts and light blue socks of Manchester City which will get us off and underway, attacking the goal away to our left. Pep Guardiola, who has been asking for the fans to contribute a little bit more, is doing so again. And Real Madrid in those dark shirts, almost black with gold trim, attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. Edison is the Manchester City goalkeeper. There is a back four of Walker, Akanji, Diaz and Gvardiol. Rodri and De Bruyne are a little bit deeper, and then it's largely been Silva on the right-hand side in the second half, with Foden behind Erling Haaland and Grealish on the left, but Doku came on to replace Grealish, and now Alvarez has replaced Erling Haaland. There's a big problem here for Jude Bellingham, who's gone down on the edge of the area after a collision with Ruben Diaz, and it looked for a second as if he was knocked out cold, and immediately there was attention called to him on the edge of the box. He is conscious, because I've just seen him roll around, but there was a bit of panic even amongst the Manchester City contingent, and Carl Walker was the one who was urging for them to get treatment for him.
Yeah, as I say, he just run into Diaz, and I don't know, well, you just don't know whether, as a sort of play acting a little bit, he certainly went down with a very limp body.
He did. Real Madrid have got Lunin in goal. Carvajal right back has been booked. Nacho, Rudiger and Mendy, who's also been booked to the back four. Toni Kroos was replaced by Mudryk in the heart of midfield. He's got Valverde and Camavinga alongside him, and Bellingham, who's playing as sort of the false nine. Brahim Diaz has come out to the left-hand side, and Vinicius is leading the line tonight. He's through the middle a little bit, and he has on occasion threatened to test in behind that Manchester City high line, and occasionally has shown flashes of managing to make the most of it. But in the second half, really, they haven't utilised that anywhere near enough.
No, certainly haven't. And I'm just wondering, Sam, whether the Tunnel Club will be delivering Horlicks now as bedtime drinks as we go into extra time instead of teas and coffees.
Maybe. We've had there's a rather elite seating area in front of us where they get table service. Indeed. Despite the fact that they are sitting here watching a football match. Here is Doku down the left-hand side, producing a cross into the box. It slides through the 6-yard area, goes beyond both De Bruyne and Alvarez and goes out to the far side. It's collected by Bernardo Silva, and then into Walker. We're live on TalkSport and on TalkSport 2 across the nation at the Etihad Stadium in extra time in the Champions League quarter-final second leg. Real Madrid against Manchester City. It's 4-4 on aggregate, 1-1 on the night. Here's Bernardo Silva far side for Manchester City, just 10 yards short of the penalty area. Exchanges passes with Akanji, and then it goes back into midfield where Rodri, patrolling sensibly, probing neatly, gives it back to Diaz, and then Gvardiol gets it out to dynamic Doku once again. He moves towards the edge of the box, dances one way, then the other. His feet moving so fast, they're almost impossible to follow. It's taken down the left side to try and beat Carvajal. He's wrestling with him. Carvajal sticks to his task. He gets it back to Gvardiol, and then on to Rodri, who's just outside the D. He tees it up for Walker, and this has been a constant theme of the second half. Manchester City attacking down one flank, then having to switch and go down another when they end up running into a bit of a cul-de-sac. But it's been pressure after pressure after pressure for Manchester City. Here is Rodri, edge of the area, right side, inside channel, shrugs away Modric, gets to the byline, needs a bit of help, guides it back to Akanji, who's been a real part of the attack in the second half. He's been thrust forward by Pep Guardiola, and then they go back to halfway and build again, City.
Yeah, as I say, Tilly, you've got to keep knocking on the door. The best supply line at the moment is probably Doku on this left-hand side. He's ball across created the goal, and certainly a couple of crosses subsequently have looked very dangerous.
94 minutes on the clock. This is the first of 2 added periods on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 tonight in the Champions League. Bayern Munich have beaten Arsenal. The sports bar is up and coming. The boys waiting to take your calls. I'm sure that Jamie in particular is bursting to take your calls. 03717 2233 44. That's the number to call if you want to get on the sports bar tonight. You can leave the boys a WhatsApp voice note as well. Same number, 03717 233344. Manchester City have possession. 1-1 on the night, 4-4 on aggregate. Alvarez to Foden, left side, tries to get into the box. He hasn't seen enough of the ball tonight and certainly hasn't been able to get into the game the way we've seen so far this season. Doku, though, certainly has. Feeds De Bruyne, couldn't control it. Foden coming in, little deflection. Mendy panics because Silva's behind him and puts it out for another corner to Manchester City. And Stuart Pearce will tell you they have had an inordinate number of corners over the course of the 90 minutes we've played, and now at the start of extra time. They're having corner number 16.
Yeah, as I say, they keep whipping them in. They've got no Haaland now. That height is missing in that front line.
It's going to be De Bruyne to take the corner kick, far side. Can he arc this one to Rodri? He might. It's aimed in towards that area, which is just back from the edge of the 6-yard box. Akanji went up there as well. He's nudged the ball back to Bernardo Silva, and now the escape might be on. But before Brahim Diaz can do that, Ruben Diaz shuts the door. Down the left it goes. Alvarez has spread his wings. He gives it back to Doku. Doku's on the left angle of the penalty area. Into Gvardiol, still sticking to this left touchline. Alvarez looks to try and attack Jude Bellingham, who comes out to face him up. Alvarez just hesitates, goes back to the Croatian, and then Bellingham can't get the better of Gvardiol. Doku now takes over, tight to the touchline. Again, Madrid keeping Manchester City at an arm's length, at a safe distance at this moment in time.
They are, and it's all City at the moment, territory-wise.
It's been all City for most of the second half, hasn't it? Foden out to the right-hand side, 96 on the clock. De Bruyne down the right side, tries to clip it back into the box. Akanji helps it into the 6-yard box, but Luning's going to come out here, protected by Carvajal. And it's going to be a Real Madrid ball away to our left-hand side. How would you sum up the game? You watched both legs now. We're into extra time in the quarter-final of the Champions League. How would you sum up the tie over the two legs? Because it was chaotic the first game, 3-3. The second one has been a lot more one-sided, but Madrid have been so much more pragmatic.
They have. They, looked a real threat on the counter-attack. Bellingham holding the ball up and sustaining attacks and building attacks. But the longer the game's gone on, the more that's diminished in many ways, hasn't it? And they look as though they're I don't want to tempt fate here. Madrid look as though they've run out of a bit of gas, to be fair, and don't believe that they can actually win the game.
Every goal that I think we've seen so far in the tie, though, has come against the run of play. So while they play their rope-a-dope tactics, we won't be painting the passage of Manchester City into the last four just yet, where if they do win tonight, they will face Bayern Munich after Arsenal's exit. 1-1, free kick given to Manchester City. Brahim Diaz was penalised, and this free kick taken just right of the centre circle. It goes into Foden, then goes back to Akanji, and Bellingham trying to lead the press and asking for some help in doing so. But I don't really think Valverde has got the legs to get up and do that anymore. So it's cleared away, but they've won it back on halfway. A poor ball into De Bruyne has been turned over, and Camavinga has it. He tries to feed Vinicius Junior, but Diaz was alert. Camavinga went diving in, the ball ran loose, and now De Bruyne brings it away on halfway. He sends it out wide towards the right. Bernardo Silva did brilliantly. Alvarez goes down the right-hand side. Foden is arriving inside the box, but Rudiger's got the header away, and it comes back out to Gvardiol. Gvardiol stepping in, tries to get beyond Valverde, who puts in a challenge. It's swished out to the near touchline by Rodri, who finds Doku. Doku into the centre. Gvardiol tempted to shoot again. It's been a good thing for him over the last couple of games, hasn't it? Doku, edge of the area, left side as City come on their familiar attack. Now Bernardo Silva works wide. Low ball into Foden. Oh, he's miskicked it. It's come through beautifully for Phil Foden, who has fluffed his line. De Bruyne actually had a great chance 8 minutes from time to win the tie, and that's another golden chance for Manchester City to put the seal on it.
Well, City's best chances, and I include the goal in that, have come when they fired the ball across the face of goal and created havoc, if you like. And on that occasion, Foden should have took a touch, I think. I know he's a talented individual. He had time to take a touch and sweep it into the back of the net.
Yeah, well, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because he sort of swished at it, missed it, and it hit his standing foot. Here is Bernardo Silva again, lifting the ball into the box, headed away by Carvajal, down by Rodri, into Doku. He controls it, but only just. He gets it into the area, takes it down the outside. He needs some support. Gvardiol provides that. An extra hesitation from him before he pokes it to Diaz. Right side is De Bruyne. De Bruyne into the centre. Away by Nacho. It's a constant pattern of swathes of blue attack. And Madrid trying to hold the resolute line to stop them from conceding what would end up being a goal which would inevitably send them out of the competition, I think.
Yeah, there's a few tired individuals out there, and I see more tiredness in the Madrid lineup than I do the City lineup.
Well, I think they're going to bring on Lucas Vazquez as an outlet now, Real Madrid. who have had Carvajal and Mendy booked, both fullbacks who have got to be careful in this extra period. We've got 5 minutes of it remaining, the first one anyway. A little back heel for Modric into the path of Valverde. Back to Modric again. And now in behind Vinicius Jr. trying to get away from Walker. He gets his body across Walker, but Walker does brilliantly, absolutely supremely, just to edge out Vinicius Jr. and block his attempted run to goal. It's supreme defending. Awesome acceleration from England's right back and Manchester City's captain.
And I tell you what, I don't know whether it's a physical injury or a mental one to Vinicius Jr. now, who's limping back to his own half.
Yeah, here is Rodri at the other end, and whilst he limps, Manchester City take on 10 men, and at this stage of the game, that could be key. Here is Doku down the left-hand side, weaving into the box, right-footed shot blocked by Rudiger, goes behind and gets away for another corner.
I'll tell you what, if we're in a boxing match at this moment in time, if I was one of the seconds for Madrid, I'd think about throwing the white towel in, because I'm not sure there's much oomph left in this team.
He's gone down, Vinicius. I think he's injured, and he's going to be replaced by Lucas Vazquez. And that's a key absentee.
I've got to say, I'd be tempted to take Diaz off instead of...
You're not having Brahim Diaz, are you?
Not tonight.
His exact words over on TalkSport 2 before we joined TalkSport for extra time was, since Brahim Diaz has come onto the pitch, he's been dreadful, Sam.
Yeah, and I'm sticking by that.
Off comes Vinicius Jr. He does so at a snail's pace, and that is causing some frustration even amongst the luminaries in the Tunnel Club. Quick, put an extra sugar in their tea.
Exactly. Some of them are being tucked in now. Now we've come to this this late that there's duvets being brought down the stands, everything.
Yeah, electric blanket for one. Foden to take the corner on this near side. He whips it in, left-footed, deep towards the far post. Header away is by Modric. It's a brilliant header as well in front of Rodri. Did supremely to get up. The ageing superstar, 38 now. Here is Bernardo Silva, moving towards the edge of the penalty area. He sends it wide as City come on yet another attack. De Bruyne into the centre. Oh, what was Lunin doing? He's fisted the ball to the near side. It's come back to Doku. Doku goes down the outside of Vazquez. He stands up across, but it's too close to the Ukrainian, and Lunin will collect this and clear it away.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of keep firing that ball across the face of goal, and all being well, a little bad clearance, a drop to somebody.
Well, Jude Bellingham gone down over on the far side. He is receiving a little bit of attention after a bump from De Bruyne. Not the world's most aggressive player, Kevin De Bruyne, but certainly he has worked incredibly hard tonight. And look, they owe him a lot, because he was the one who was really making things happen when others had gone off the boil a little bit. They needed more from Haaland, and Foden didn't get it, but he produced, and he's come up with the equaliser, which at the moment has put them in a great position. But here comes Lucas Vazquez. Brahim Diaz trying to stay onside. Camavinga coming forward in a rare foray into City territory by Real Madrid. 1-1 the score on the night, 4-4 on aggregate. Still none the wiser as to seeing who will play Bayern Munich in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Ball out wide towards the right, and Brahim Diaz, who moves up towards the edge of the penalty area. It's been a bad week for Arsenal. They've lost ground in the title race, and they're out of the Champions League. 03717 223344 is the number to call if you want to get in the sports bar. Are Manchester City going to follow them out of the Champions League, or go through at the expense of Real Madrid? It's still all to play for. Diaz trying to get the ball away from Josko Gvardiol. He gives it away to Doku instead, and Doku says, I'm going to test Carvajal for pace. He pushes it down the touchline, comes back infield, releases Rodri, who collects it well. De Bruyne, 10 yards from the edge of the D, goes wide towards the City right. Now it's Bernardo Silva, back to the Belgium. He then waits for the arrival of Walker on the outside, and again they're all bunched up on the edge of the box, the Real Madrid players, trying to ensure that the spaces that City are looking for are no longer apparent. Walker slows it down, right side, 3 yards in from the right touchline. 30 seconds of time to play at the end of the first period of extra time. Bernardo Silva to the right, trying to get away from Ferland Mendy. Goes on the outside, gets to the byline, tries to push a cross in, but Ferland Mendy did his job, and the ball trickles behind and away for a goal kick, and that probably will be the last action of the first quarter of an hour of extra time. Stuart, what do you make of it?
Well, at this moment, with the substitutes that have been made from Madrid, I think their counter-attack threat, and I don't want to speak too soon on that, has diminished slightly. So it's whether City can get that breakthrough in the next 15 minutes.
2 minutes of added time at the end of the first period of extra time. I mean, there was only 2 minutes added on the whole of the first 45 minutes. How has there been 2 minutes to be added on in extra time?
It was that slow walk-off of Vinicius Junior.
It was that saunter to the near touchline by Vinicius Junior. I mean, that didn't take 2 minutes. Here's Vasquez onto Brahim Diaz. Bellingham makes a dart down the right-hand side. Might get on the end of this. Vasquez goes into the centre. The ball centred by Bellingham. It goes out for a corner. And would you believe this? I have every reason to believe that that is the first corner kick that Real Madrid have fashioned in the 106 minutes we've played here.
It's incredible when you consider the amount that City have racked up. Hope it doesn't bear fruit.
Modric to take said corner from the near side. He's got Rudiger to aim at. Nacho's in there as well. Bellingham trying to raise the noise levels from the Madridissimo over on the far side, and the corner comes in. It's flicked away by Walker, out as far as Brahim Diaz. He dollies the ball straight up against Bernardo Silva. Rudiger keeps it alive, away by Akanji, and it's out as far as Ferland Mendy. Mendy slides it down into Diaz's path again, looks to try and bring it infield. Diaz, who was once of this parish, sends a cross into the box. Rudiger over the top of the bar from 4 yards outside the goal mouth, and from a wide angle has a golden chance to put Madrid in front and misses it.
Well, Diaz it was who whipped the ball into the box, and he's in the 6-yard box, Rudiger. He swivels his body, left foot, and toe punks it right into the stand. Thank goodness.
Manchester City have had to endure hardly any attacking football for the last hour, but right at the very end of the first period of extra time, they saw their Champions League lives flash before them. Half-time and extra time, City 1, Madrid 1.
Arsenal are out, City still trying to get through. Second half of extra time here at the Etihad, coming next on TalkSport.
The playlist on TalkSport 2. Top flight football conversation for the sporting nation.
He's going to be half fit at best.
Yeah, at best.
At best, half fit.
All the big name views, news, and opinions that matter.
This bloke's too good at football for me.
Pull up your socks, lace up your boots, and get stuck in.
They did win, and they won quite comfortably.
Get all the big fever pitch build-up all in one mammoth sporting session.
Just give me the points. I want to be in front of them.
The playlist, Friday afternoon from 5 on TalkSport 2. Fight Night Extra on TalkSport 2. Tuesday evening from 5.
Get weighed in for a massive night of big boxing drama.
I'm just ready to go to war.
Explosive insight.
I'm the generation fighter. I actually feel sorry for all these guys.
Hard-hitting boxing discussion.
Fantastic boxer.
Get in the ring and go the distance.
She's got movements that look like Mayweather at times.
Fight Night Extra, Tuesday evening from 5
on TalkSport 2.
TalkSport Podcast League. Outspoken with White and Jordan.
Listen to the latest show whenever and wherever you want with Outspoken, the podcast from TalkSport.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be asked.
All killer, no filler conversation.
Did you say that he should be investigated by trading standards?
That doesn't pull any punches.
Yeah, because he was rubbish.
Outspoken with Jim Mighty White and Lord Simon Jordan.
That's a bit over the top.
Well, there we are.
Out now.
Listen or download for free from your favourite podcast portal.
The playlist on TalkSport 2. Top flight football conversation for the sporting nation.
He's going to be half fit at best.
Yeah, at best.
At best, half fit.
All the big name views, news, and opinions that matter.
This bloke's too good at football for me.
Pull up your socks, lace up your boots, and get stuck in.
They did win, and they won quite comfortably.
Get all the big fever pitch build-up all in one mammoth sporting session.
Just give me the points. I want to be in front of them.
The playlist, Friday afternoon from 5 on TalkSport 2.
20-minute period here. He's not going to do them any favours ahead of that game. And then, by the time they play Thursday night live on TalkSport against Brighton, they could find themselves knocked off the top of the Premier League. In fact, it's likely they will do. But getting through in the Champions League is their immediate priority, and that is taking all of their attention and ours. Here is Bellingham on the near side, trying to hold up the ball, gets it back into Valverde, who has it pinched by Walker, and it's out on this near side. Is there anything that Pep Guardiola can do to influence proceedings here? He's only used 2 of his substitutes so far. Would you be tempted to add anything else?
I'm not sure I would, to be fair. He's the team that are on the front foot at the moment. The only reason you might do that is closer to penalty kicks, if you feel as though you've got a good penalty taker on the bench. I get the feeling with Pep, he knows exactly, he trusts his team to get a winner.
Ancelotti has done very well, actually, to sort of plot a course to getting something from this game. Definitely an improvement on last season's showing when they were blitzed at the Etihad Stadium. And penalty kicks may well give them the best chance of a route through to the semi-finals and a match-up with Bayern Munich. Ancelotti, who we were mentioning earlier, is usually incredibly calm. Even he's looked tense. Here's Alvarez on the edge of the area, finding Foden, who's now in the middle of the Madrid half, combining with Bernardo Silva. Back to Bernardo Silva from Foden. He's driven him back, and Ancelotti's trying to move his team up the pitch and get them away from their own penalty area. They were dropping a little bit too deep for his liking.
Yeah, I wonder if Rodri's words are ringing in Pep's ears at the moment. I'm a little bit tired, can you give us a rest?
He had his rest on Saturday.
There you go. Have a bit of extra time.
Hey, training season's over. This is the business end of the campaign. Legs will be tested. And so will minds. And that mental ability to dig in and get through these tough situations. It's something that Manchester City have got in their locker. Can they prove it tonight? Doku, who is running down that left-hand side, dancing inside and outside, beats 2 players, gets to the byline, hits it against Carvajal, then goes for the return. It's collected by Lucas Vazquez, and they clear Madrid here with Camavinga charging through midfield. He's got option to his right in Brahim Diaz. He's got Bellingham to the left-hand side. Diaz almost conspired to lose the ball again. Vazquez will switch the play from right to left, and Real Madrid will have possession. 107 minutes on the clock. We get to 120 before we blow up for penalty kicks. Modric trying to get away from Alvarez. Referee says play on, despite the fact that he looks as if he was clipped by Julian Alvarez. And then Carvajal's gone down with a problem. And the ball's been kicked out of play on this near side, and they may well have to make another change here, Real Madrid, for another injury. Davide Ancelotti, the assistant to his dad, Carlo Ancelotti, is just orchestrating the changes. Those two ended up having a stand-up row in the second half. Real proper beef. I think Eder Militao, who has only played 2 minutes of competitive football since having a serious knee injury, is about to come on for the last few moments of this game.
Yeah, as I say, Carvajal just hit the deck. I've got a feeling there's cramps set in there. And he's up and he's down again.
Playing the pantomime villain over there on the far side. Well, they're going to use all of the housery tactics to get through to 120 minutes, I think. Such is the fact that they're on the back foot, and they are, you know, they're out on points, aren't they? Let's be honest. If it was a boxing match, there were no chance of getting through on the card. But because it goes to penalty kicks, they have got a puncher's chance.
Yeah, they certainly have. As I say, the sub now just pulled his socks up, put his shin pads on, tied his boots, put his shirt on. In fact, he just got fully dressed once again.
Ah, good. Are you suggesting that he wasn't prepared for his actions? Is that what you're saying?
That was an innuendo, yes.
Yes, it did feel as if that was your inference. Yeah. And I think John Stones is going to come on as well in the next few moments. So Eder Militao comes on, and Dani Carvajal will eventually come off. And he gets a slap of the hands from Jude Bellingham and a little cuddle as well. Pep Guardiola wants to make a change himself here. He's immediately saying, come on, I need someone to get ready. John Stones is taking his time. Maybe it won't be John Stones after all that.
I think it's Kovacic.
Kovacic is going to get the call instead. He's not ready either. In fact, both of them are still trying to get ready. John Stones is still fiddling with his bits and pieces. Oh, Eder Militao's got off again. No, he's got a chain on.
Oh, jeez, oh dear, oh dear.
No bling in the Champions League, I'm afraid.
honestly. This is the top echelon to club football.
Yes.
The player's not ready. He's got his Belcher chain round his neck. He's out to be sent off for it. You couldn't ride it.
We're back underway. Stones and Kovacic about to come on, and we are going to get another substitutions. The temperature dips again inside the Etihad Stadium, but the release is for Brahim Diaz down the right-hand side for Real Madrid, who's scampering forward. He's being trapped by Diaz. He gets to the right angle of the penalty area. He's got men over here, but his pass selection was poor. Vasquez tries to send it back from the edge of the area anyway on the volley. Didn't catch it right. Goes over the top of the crossbar. There's a chance.
Yeah, it was a chance. He was stretching at it. No need to. Should have composed himself slightly.
Off comes De Bruyne, and on comes Kovacic, and off comes Manuel Akanji, and on comes John Stones. What's your verdict on those substitutions, Stuart? I mean, he's had such an influence on the game, Kevin De Bruyne. I can only think that that's time that's creeping in.
Yeah, that's all I can think. We're near enough at the end of the match. We're staring down the barrel of penalties.
He's had so many injuries, you don't want to put him in the red zone.
No, I think he should be well and truly in that now, the work he's got in.
Yeah, certainly had a very good game, Kevin De Bruyne. I wonder if those changes will turn the tide here. Maybe give control to Real Madrid. It's a free kick to Madrid, even though City thought that it was their free kick, so they set up for that, went to play. The referee stopped the game and said, no, it's a Madrid free kick, and now the whole set piece is turned on its head, and all of a sudden, from what like a routine free kick for Manchester City, it's now an attacking set piece for Real Madrid.
He did actually give the free kick his way, the way he pointed.
Yes, but he changes his mind, as we've seen. Modric into the penalty area, not a great delivery, headed away by Stones. In the first half, he gave 2 goal kicks and he then changed into corners. Here is Vasquez down the right side, looking for Brahim Diaz, and out comes the goalkeeper, who slides across the turf and finds Ederson. And Ederson bowls it out to Bernardo Silva. John Stones to the left and Vardiol. That was a little trait that we noticed in the referee in the first 45 minutes, and we thought he might be getting instruction actually, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if he did then.
Doku into Kovacic, round the back, tries to send the ball in towards the left edge of the 6-yard box, but he didn't get to wrap his foot around it because Rudiger came across, did his job, and it's out for another corner to Manchester City.
Oh, yet another corner.
Well, I think Foden's taken maybe 1 or 2 of them, but he's going to have to take this one because Kevin De Bruyne is now out of the game. And John Stones up from the back, Rodri's in there, Diaz is in there too. Can they find a blue head with 6 minutes of time to play at the end of extra time? Whipped in, left-footed, aimed towards Diaz, away by Camavinga, and then back out to Walker. Bernardo Silva with a little flick past Mendy, which allows Rodri to get across in towards the far post, aimed in towards Vardiol, comes to Bernardo Silva. He's not going to get the shot away because Vasquez is going to put himself between man and ball. That's just Diaz who puts himself between man and ball and takes one in the ribs. Is that the best thing he's done all night?
I'm not sure he even got kicked, to be fair.
Oh, stop it, give him a break.
Honestly, I'm not giving him any breaks at all.
Stuart Pearce, the former Manchester City manager, alongside us in the commentary box. The Madrid fans away to our right-hand side, knowing the context of this game, knowing the fact they've got a Clásico to play at the weekend, and with an 8-point lead in La Liga. This is a huge, huge moment in their season because they're going to win La Liga, and that's going to represent a good campaign. To have a sensational campaign, they have to go further in this competition. Here is Doku from Foden, edge of the area, trying to finish it in extra time. Blocked by Valverde. Ball forward. He tries to drive them out and away from their own penalty box, and he does that by finding Camavinga. Infield it goes to the Uruguayan again. Back to the left back, Mendy. Tries to get to the halfway line. Challenge from Bernardo Silva. Doku comes across. Bernardo Silva skips past Valverde. He brushes aside Camavinga. He gets chopped by Modric. In fact, the referee says, no, he didn't. And Modric comes away with the ball. And that was controversial, but City have got it back through Rodri. Collected by Vardiol. Foden, Alvarez. He tries to twist away from Bellingham. Bellingham gets a tackle in. It breaks for Rodri, who dives in, feeds Bernardo Silva right angle of the penalty area. He gets it onto his left foot, went to shoot, didn't decide to pull the trigger. Away from the edge of the box by Modric. Again, it's all hands to the pump for Madrid, who are trying desperately to keep Manchester City at bay. It's Rodri looking for Stones, who's gone on. I don't know whether or not City are tired themselves now, but it's all very lethargic and very, very slow tempoed on the edge of the box. It's with Alvarez into the area, away by Camavinga. Again, Brahim Diaz trying to get there to get the ball clear, but it goes back to halfway and another wave of blue attack comes.
I'll tell you what, this Madrid side are out on their feet. You know, at stages like this, you've just got to find something deep within you. And too many of their players are not doing that. And I hope City get a winner because they deserve it. They're on the front foot, they're chasing the game, and they're the ones with oomph. Madrid, too many of their players are looking at each other saying, who's doing the work? It's not going to be me.
Then in an intervention City, here's Rodri trying to provide one into the box with a left-footed cross, headed away by Eder Militao, forward by Diaz, away by Nacho. Brahim Diaz brings it to halfway, and now Bellingham with Vasquez escaping on the far side. Can he find him? He couldn't. Vardiol got there first, tucks it out of play, it's away for a throw-in over on the halfway line. And Vardiol actually, I think, got kicked as he did make that challenge, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Real Madrid with now 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play of extra time on TalkSport. Remember, on Saturday, Manchester City have an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. They then take on Brighton away and Forest away before Wolves at home, Fulham away, West Ham at home. They've got Spurs to play as well. That Spurs game, that Brighton game, that Chelsea game, they're on TalkSport. And Real Madrid, who have the Clasico against Barcelona on Sunday night. They hope their season doesn't end here in the Champions League. They know that they're very close to sewing up that title race. They want more. They crave more. They've got to get through this test. City hope that they don't. Here's Nacho to the left and Ferland Mendy clipping it down the near touchline. Nacho takes it beyond Walker, who dived in, and Nacho escaped. He doesn't really know what to do with it now because he's in an unfamiliar position. He sends it square. Valverde tries to poke it back out to Ferland Mendy. Bellingham's in the centre. It's across towards the far post. Vasquez trying to arrive, but it was a mismatch between him and Vardiol. But Modric has won it back. Bellingham waiting in the centre. The ball into the area is a poor one. It goes behind. It's a goal kick. And they had the chance to make the most of a mistake by Walker and didn't do it.
Yeah, it's at stages like this that you're pleased that Vinicius Junior's not on the pitch.
He came off after a bout of cramp, I think, and after a foot race that was won superbly by Walker, and he put him out of the game as a result of it. Vardiol coming forward, minutes ticking away, 2 of them left of extra time. On TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Stones dispossessed, and now a chance to break for Real Madrid, and they've got numbers in advance of the ball here, and Brahim Diaz has got away from one challenge, he couldn't get away from another, but Kovacic's clearance has come to Vasquez. Now Bellingham's got it 10 yards outside the box. He takes a couple of touches and sends it to Brahim Diaz. He wants the return. He gets the return inside the area and can't get round Ederson. He might have committed a foul on Kovacic before he got there, and it goes out for what I think will be either a free kick on the edge of the 6-yard box or a goal kick. Neither matters. It's a City ball.
And City going forward again.
Well, they have to really, because it will reduce their odds to take it to penalties, won't it? I mean, it becomes more of a 50-50 game. While it's a football match like this, they are the massive favourites. As soon as that time disappears and they go to penalty kicks, it becomes more of a level playing field. They don't want it.
No, they certainly don't. They look a little bit short of cutting edge, I've got to say, within the ranks at the moment. It's probably Doku who's got the pace and the energy to go past anyone.
How strange has it been that Foden hasn't been able to provide that Haaland couldn't, that Bernardo Silva hasn't come up with one of those moments yet. Here is Foden, moving towards the edge of the box. Reverse pass into Alvarez, who shot his tail. Straight at the goalie.
Just as you mentioned the name Foden, off he went, past 2 players and slid a great ball down.
Yep, but he hasn't been as in the game as he has been in the latter part of this season, where he has been so much at the centre of what Manchester City have done.
Yeah, I think playing out on the flank for a long period has not helped him tonight, and the amount of people in the centre of the pitch.
It's been so congested, it's been difficult for him to find that space. Doku has come on and tried to weave down that left-hand side to exploit the low block. It's 1 minute of added time at the... I mean, come off it, mate. How can there be 1 minute of added time with all the stoppages that we've had in the second half of extra time when you had 2 minutes at the end of the first half of extra time? This guy needs a new watch, doesn't he? Here is Kovacic. just left of the centre circle. 1 minute of added time. We've already played 20 seconds of it. Doku down the left. Can he win it here? He goes beyond Lucas Vasquez. Then he's held up by the Spaniard. Tries to twist away. Does twist away. A couple of deflections, sends it behind. It's a goal kick away to our right. We could be heading to penalties here.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's up for grabs then, that is for sure.
Guardiola again trying to get the City fans behind the team. And again, it's just a smattering of applause that you get. It's not the big roar. And I think there's nervous tension inside this stadium. They know that their double treble is in the balance. Their Champions League future is in the balance. Carlo Ancelotti knows that this is a big moment. It's going to be penalties. After 90 minutes in Madrid and 120 in Manchester, there is still nothing to separate Guardiola's Manchester City and Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid, who are on the back foot for most of tonight's game, but have a 50-50 chance from the penalty spot. City 1, Madrid 1 at the end of extra time, 4-4 in aggregate. Spot kicks will decide who plays Bayern Munich.
Arsenal already out of the Champions League tonight, beaten 1-0 away to Bayern Munich. Joshua Kimmich with the only goal of the game in the second half. So the Gunners have gone, and you can reflect on that in the sports bar, which is coming up after this penalty shootout here at the Etihad. If you want to get your calls in early, feel free. 03717 223344, and it's the same number for your WhatsApp voice notes. If you can't face speaking to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, but you do want to have some sort of message put out there, 03717 223344. Let me tell you about the next Premier League commentary coming up. Wolves Arsenal Saturday night on TalkSport 7:30, and the Gunners can console themselves with a win. They go top of the table. FA Cup semi-finals are both on TalkSport this weekend as well. City Chelsea Saturday 5:15. Chelsea will be delighted this has gone to extra time and more. Coventry Manchester United Sunday afternoon. They're both live on TalkSport. And what a big midweek in the Premier League coming up. Tuesday night Arsenal Chelsea live and exclusive on TalkSport. Wednesday night the Merseyside derby, Everton against Liverpool, again live and exclusive on TalkSport. Thursday night it's Brighton Man City, live and exclusive on TalkSport. On top of those games, we have Man United against Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 Wednesday night. That game's not on telly in the UK. Two other Premier League games on Wednesday night are both available to listen to on the TalkSport app. Wolves against Bournemouth and Palace against Newcastle, neither are live on UK TV. Just download the TalkSport app from where you get your apps. Easy to download, easy to use. It's free as well, loads of good stuff on it. And the City fans in fine voice. If only we had a co-commentator who had experience of penalty shootouts. Oh, Stuart Pearce. You've had a positive experience, you've had a negative experience of penalty shootouts. What's going on in the City huddle right now?
Focusing. The game's not over yet. It's not over till the last penalty's taken. Taking order. Vitally important. Have they done their own work in regard to who are the best 5 penalty takers left on the pitch? And accordingly, subsequently from there, and you're in the hands of your goalkeeper. You know, and in Edison, I think they've got an outstanding shot stopper.
Well, they have, and let's see if he's been doing any homework with his goalkeeping coach as well. They break from the huddle, still a little bit of time to go before the first penalty goes in. How much of it is about bottle, how much about technique, Stuart?
It's a bit of both. Don't change your mind. You know, there's some outstanding penalty takers. Tired legs as well. I always never like to sit down, always keep on the move. Show the opposition you're still fresh as a daisy, even though you know you're not. And you're at home. You've got home field advantage and a venomous crowd here.
You have as well. I've always been told lifting a penalty is a dangerous thing to do, putting it high into there, but they're virtually impossible to save if you put it in the corner and high. Would you risk that?
What you do is you take your best penalty, whatever you think that is, and you stick to it. Don't be changing your mind. You know, City, I don't know whether the substitutions that were made latter stages of the extra time were penalty takers coming onto the pitch potentially. I'm not sure. Time will tell.
Well, if the away goals rule was still in, City would be heading through to the semi-final against Bayern Munich. As it is, we've got some more work to do here at the Etihad, live on TalkSport. Manchester City couldn't derail Madrid over 120 minutes. What can they do in the shootouts? Talking you through it, Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterpace.
Well, there's some players with experience of penalty shootouts, including a World Cup winner in Julian Alvarez, who's going to take the first City penalty away to our left-hand side in front of the City supporters, the Madridistas at the other end. And I think it's also worth pointing out that we haven't got a ball yet, which is a bit of an issue. So the City staff have just gone out to get one. And one of the support staff has gone over, picked up a ball that he quite likes, kissed it, and then given it to Julian Alvarez. City have had positive and negative experiences with penalty shootouts this season. They won 6-5 on penalties in the Super Cup earlier in the campaign against Sevilla, and they lost 5-2 on penalties to Arsenal, you may remember, in the Community Shield. So let's see how this pans out. Julian Alvarez in front of Andre Lunin for the first penalty. Going first, Manchester City in the shootout for a place in the semi-finals of the Champions League. It's Julian Alvarez, steps up, right-footed, strikes the ball to the goalkeeper's left. He goes the wrong way, he scores, and it's 1-0.
Super penalty there, really was. Goalkeeper, say, went early, went to his right. Alvarez just opened his body up, guided it inside of the foot, but put a lot of pace on it.
Luka Modric will take the second kick of the night, the first for Madrid. He stomps forward. He himself has been a penalty taker of some repute, a strong striker of the football in front of those hostile Manchester City folk behind the goal. He will step up right-footed. Ederson bounces. It's saved by Ederson, down to his right, repelling Luka Modric, and it's advantage City in the shootout.
Fantastic save by the goalkeeper there. Once again, went to his right-hand side. Got a strong right hand to it.
Well, it wasn't in the corner. It was a couple of yards inside the upright. It was a good save by Ederson. And again, we've lost the football. Where's the ball?
I think it went in the crowd from Modric eventually, and someone's took it home as a souvenir.
Well, Bernardo Silva has come back from the crowd. Bernardo Silva wants to get on with it, and there's a delay as a result. And it's going to be Manchester City's Bernardo Silva to take the next penalty kick, leading by 1-0 after the save from Ederson. It's advantage City in the shootout for a place in the semi-finals. Bernardo Silva, who steps back towards the edge of the box, arcs his run up. It'll be a left-footed ball into the box, and he's teed it up straight in the goalkeeper's hands. That's one of the worst penalties I've ever seen. Straight up to the goalkeeper's hands. What has he done?
Well, incredibly, if the goalie dives, it's a brilliant penalty. It was one of those, the goalie has not dived. He's just stood there and caught it right in front of his face. When you get them wrong, they look horrendous.
Relieved look on the face of Modric. Absolutely despondent look on the face of Bernardo Silva, who knows he has just missed a huge penalty and surrendered the advantage. And the man to try and take that advantage back is Jude Bellingham. He takes a long run-up. He eyeballs the goalkeeper. Jude Bellingham wearing Zidane's 5 against Ederson. Right-footed, slips it past the goalkeeper and in. And we're all square in the shootout, and City's early advantage has evaporated.
Yeah, a little stuttered run up there. Ederson gone to his left. Bellingham had the presence of mind just to close his foot and pull it the opposite way.
Anyone who's watched Mateo Kovacic recently knows how well he can strike from distance. How good is he going to be from 12 yards out? It's Kovacic against Lunin to put City back in front. 1-1 in the shootout. He steps up, right-footed, saved by Lunin! And now it's advantage Real Madrid. It's a miss by Kovacic, a save by Lunin. Another poor penalty, hit with venom but not the right direction. And Manchester City have missed 2 of their first 3 kicks.
Yeah, goalkeepers are proving their worth now, there's no doubt about that. Normally, if the opposition miss and you score, the chances of winning a shootout go through the roof. And this occasion, City have not used that stat to their advantage.
Had a terrible shootout against Arsenal in the Community Shield, and it's coming back to haunt them. Lucas Vazquez to put Madrid in front. Right-footed, steps up into the corner, and it's advantage Real Madrid in the shootout. Lucas Vazquez, dead-eyed from the spot, and Manchester City need all the help they can get now.
Right in the corner, waited for the goalkeeper to blink first, closed his foot and pulled it to his left-hand side.
And so much has, and so much does, rest on the shoulders of Phil Foden here. 2-1 to Real Madrid. It's Foden, blasts it home. 2-2.
Good penalty there, Foden, under pressure. 2 each. Now Ederson's got to pull something out the locker for his team, otherwise no retention of the Champions League this year.
Big moment this for Nacho, to put Madrid ahead with one regulation spot kick to take. Nacho, the club captain, has signed a year's extension in the summer and has been called upon a lot this season against Ederson. He spots the ball, takes a big run up, turns up and blasts it into the corner, and it's 3-2 to Real Madrid. And now Manchester City have to score their next penalty.
Sudden death now.
And it's going to be Ederson who is going to take it. Goalkeeper, eyeballing goalkeeper. He's just back from a knee injury that he sustained up at Liverpool. He started tonight after not starting the first leg. Ederson against Lunin, the goalkeeper of Manchester City, to keep them alive in the Champions League. Steps up, left-footed. What a penalty that is. Have that. He scores. It's 3-3.
Well, that was probably as good a penalty as we've seen tonight.
Probably the best one.
No one strikes the ball better than this kid, and he stroked it with his right foot, and the pace he generated was magnificent.
They're only just alive, though, because Antonio Rudiger will take the penalty, which could send Real Madrid through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. If Rudiger scores it, it's all over for the holders. It is Antonio Rudiger, left out the second leg controversially last year in the semi-final, to win the game and a place in the semis for Real Madrid. He steps up, right-footed, and slots it home, and Real Madrid win the quarter-final and knock out Manchester City on penalties. It's a defeat that brings down the curtain on the attempts of an historic double treble for Pep Guardiola and sends Madrid into the semi-finals again. Bernardo Silva warned that when you play Madrid, you can never be completely in control, and that has been proved here tonight. The latest battle in the burgeoning European rivalry goes the way of Europe's most successful side. It won't be the last you hear of City on the European stage, but it will be the last that you hear of them on the continent for this season. Madrid celebrate, they run over to their fans in the corner, having won this quarter-final, this epic on penalties. And Pep Guardiola and Manchester City have to lick their wounds. Their focus will laser in on the Premier League, the FA Cup, but for Madrid, they will focus on a Clasico and a semi-final with Bayern Munich. It finishes at the Etihad, 1-1 on the night, 4-4 on aggregate, and 4-3 on penalties to Real Madrid.
Manchester City go out, there'll be no treble this year. They can focus on the league, they can focus on the FA Cup. That will be small consolation right now. They will be absolutely gutted, and to a certain extent, Stuart Pearce, I think they've got themselves to blame. Real Madrid set their stall out, they were going to defend all night, they got a goal, got in front, they were going to defend and defend and defend. City had all the ball, couldn't create enough chances, got the equaliser. De Bruyne has missed a sitter in the 90. City just didn't carve them open often enough to create the chances they needed to win in normal time or in extra time.
No, you're right, and the couple of chances they had that flashed across the face of goal that they didn't take. De Bruyne's one, Phil Foden had a good opportunity, and the other side of the coin is, you know, Madrid come here, thought they defended well with their shape. They asked a few questions, certainly on the counter-attack. I thought Bellingham led the team very well, certainly in the early stages of the game. The longer the game went on, the more City was stronger and stronger and stronger. But at the end of it, you know, they didn't take advantage of having their nose in front with the penalty shootout, and that's cost them.
Yeah, they had the early advantage, but they let that go. Bernardo Silva's penalty, straight at the goalkeeper. That one, I mean, everybody in the stadium was like, what is he doing? But the way you described it in commentary is right. If the keeper moves, it goes in.
Exactly that. I don't think what you've got to do, I think, when you come up, you've got to stutter your run up and make sure the goalkeeper almost goes first, you know, or second guesses you. He just run up, he took the shot early, he chipped it basically straight down the goalkeeper's throat, and the goalkeeper just stood there and said thank you very much, and that was a real blow for City, I think.
It looked awful, and it will haunt Bernardo Silva, I think. Fair play to a lot of the City fans who are applauding the team as they come off. Yes, they're out of the Champions League, but they won it last season. They won a treble last season, and as this European run comes to an end for Manchester City, they deserve the credit they're getting from their fans, and it backs up what we were talking about earlier, Stuart Pearce, that Pep Guardiola said to still be competing